Hello, everybody. We are back. I'm back. Obviously, it's been 3 weeks for me, 1 week for these guys because of 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to Americans, by the way. It is Big Trouble Little Podcast, episode 248. I am Joe Dubs.
I'm Andy. I'm Andy.
I'm Chaz, aka the second 232nd handle I now have, Gawk. That's how you can find me on the Discord. You're welcome. Legion of Goom, what's up? I'm doing shout outs now. I'm kind of a big deal. All right, I'll stop.
Hey, everybody. It's Chaz. It's Chaz. Let's see. No one cares. I'm kidding.
I really hate that man. Zach. I'm Zach.
That's another great quote. Oh man, the most quotable movie of the 90s. Apparently.
You are eventually going to have movie reviews on your movie review podcast, right?
Hello.
Yes. I'm gonna let Chaz explain this because he has I'm doing the fucking Goldblum mug now.
I was doing.
Well, there it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're doing Jurassic Park, but fuck, Chaz, what's the theme thing that you're doing? As far as like us trying to figure it out, are we trying to figure it out within this movie after we discuss it, or are we watching all of them and it has one single theme? What's going on?
Yeah. Okay, this is what we're gonna do, a little game. And everybody likes games, right? They're fun. So what I've decided is my theme is mystery, and this is the thing. Each week we will unveil a movie one at a time. So at the end of this episode, or multiple times throughout the episode, I will name what the next movie is we're gonna watch. And we're just going to do it one at a time like that. There's a total of 6. And I will give people, once we have so many movies, we're going to start having guesses. And people will have, what I'm going to do is decide viewers have 1 chance to guess. I'm going to give you guys 2 chances. That's what I've decided. But we'll come to that.
I really hope the other movies are going to be like, We're Back, A Dinosaur Story, and like Tammy and the T-Rex, and like at the end you're gonna be like, do you know what the theme was?
4 times 6. Yeah, no, that's the plan. No, so the reward or for guessing, of course, I think I'm gonna let at least 3 movies play out, and then week 4 is when we'll start taking submissions for guesses. And then once someone has guessed that theme, they'll win that prize. I'll probably still do something like, I don't know, like it's like a token of some kind to show that someone won, just to kind of be like, oh, that's neat, whatever, but nobody will probably care. Maybe you guys would care about that. But the bigger thing is that I'm going to let the person that wins choose where I do my annual donation this year.
Okay.
So
that sounds cool.
So if you want the donation to go to your favorite charity, great. If you want me to donate that money to the International House of Pancakes, please don't make that the choice. But whatever it may be, I will donate my
England Church in Southwest Virginia. That one, that's my choice.
No, please no. I don't know if that's like an extra on me because they took my grandpappy. I don't need to talk about that. But jokes aside, though, as far as what the theme could be, it could literally be anything that would link these movies together. So it could be an actual theme of what the movies are about. It could be just something about where they all take place. It could be that one of the people in the movie or one of the directors or writers is all the same.
They all have the same best boy.
They could all start with the same letter, which clearly that one will be thrown out after I unveil the next movie. But it could literally it could be anything.
I think once we start getting into more movies that you pick, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I know what it is.
Well, there's a reason I don't want to just like right from the start. Like I think like seeing one movie, it's a little hard, but once you start to get 2 or 3 movies, I think it probably will come to someone pretty quickly, which is why I don't want to just give everyone unlimited guesses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't forget he said you get 2 guesses, and if you guess wrong twice, you're out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, as far as how we're gonna do that, I still haven't fully decided if you guys can just like air it and say whatever you want right then and there when you have a guess, or if it's more like someone tells me and then the next time we're on air, I would announce, hey, this person guessed it and give it. We'll figure that part out, but nevertheless, I thought it'd be fun. Hopefully, some viewers will tune in and give some guesses as well. But yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't announce the amount. The amount that I'm donating will just be $500. That's the amount. So
Yeah. I have an idea though. Like maybe we have our two choices, right? We submit it, but we won't know until the end. I think that would be a better idea. Because don't be like, yeah, you got it right. Just be like, oh, that's what you think? Okay, I'll write that down in my notebook. And
Like
then
right in
when-
the middle of episode 3, we're just dinosaurs. It's dinosaurs.
I have a feeling Andy has his first guess. He's just ready. He really just wants to guess dinosaurs and then the right answer.
Well,
Nice
speaking of dinosaurs, let's
blockbusters.
fucking talk about Jurassic Park.
Yeah, let's get
bursting at
into
the
it.
seams.
We spared no expense.
yeah.
I didn't spend anything.
It's from, I don't know if you know the director, Steven Spielberg.
I've never heard of him.
Oh, is he the guy that made that movie Et?
Yeah.
You guys ever watch Et?
Yeah, he made it.
It's a weird movie.
He later made I. He's not big on letters. This guy, he wants to get away with as few of them as he can.
Yeah. So, you know, a great cast, by the way. Sam Neill. We all loved Sam Neill in it. I always mark out for Laura Dern just because of what's that fucking David Lynch when he was outside the Oscars with a fucking cow and stuff because Laura
She deserved an Oscar.
yeah. So I always laugh when I see her on screen.
I was talking to a friend about this. Like, I saw this movie as a kid a bunch of times and really liked it. But now that I'm older, I have seen like In the Mouth of Madness and Blue Velvet and like all these other movies that Sam Neill and Laura Dern are in. And now coming back to Jurassic Park is always a bit weird having seen them in those other movies.
Yeah.
Because those other movies are not popcorn munching blockbuster Jurassic Park kind of stuff.
No.
And it's just so bizarre. Like Jeff Goldblum, to a lesser extent, I can kind of see him here because he's all over the map. He'll be in The Fly, and then he'll be in a Wes Anderson movie. Like
You know,
Jeff Goldblum's whatever.
and fucking all kinds of shit.
Yeah, but Laura Dern and Sam Neill, what strange yet somehow perfect casting in this movie.
I mean, I find it unfair to say that In the Mouth of Madness is not a popcorn eating movie. It's literally how it ends.
Yeah, but
Yeah. You do get a little Sam Neill Mouth of Madness when he's like talking to the kid in the beginning of the movie about fucking raptor because he's like, that raptor doesn't look scary. It looks like a turkey. And
Giant
he's-
turkey.
Yeah, and he takes out the little fucking thing. He's like, I'm gonna slice his stomach and shit.
I'm gonna touch your balls with my raptor claw.
Yeah, so obviously he's doing the old Picard thing from Star Trek. I hate kids.
Stop, Wesley.
Yeah. Shut up, Wesley. Because now we do get a nod later on Sam Neill's character is in a relationship with Laura Dern's character. But we don't get that until later, until Jeff Goldblum says, hey, are you guys like an item? And he's like, yeah. But in the beginning, like they talk about children, but she kind of like makes it sound like he's like a friend. Like, hey, do you want kids? And he's like, no, they're just smelly and shit.
They're expensive and they smell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's more like they are in a relationship, but they are married to their profession first,
Mhm.
which is part of the reason why. I mean, they're leading experts in what they do, and then they're brought into this crazy island. I mean, right at the start, right? For those, if anybody here hasn't watched this movie, by the way, if you're watching this now and decide you want to watch Jurassic Park, there is a 4K 30th anniversary edition, which I did get to watch. Did not have the copy with me. I was an idiot and left it in my other location. But wow, it looks very, very good. It's very, very nice. But
Site B.
it's Site B, yeah. But Mr. Hammond, who spares no expense, they just like when they first meet him, they just find this jerk in there cracking their champagne that they've saved for a special occasion. And he's just arrogantly decided, no, it's today.
We're
Which
celebrating.
again, still great, right? We have something to celebrate, but oh man.
Does his Scottish accent go in and out sometimes?
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Because I was like,
Mhm.
hey, he has an accent. It's gone. Where'd it go? And then it shows back up again.
That kind of checks out though, I thought, because he's supposed to be like a showman, kind of. Like he's built his fortune upon, oh yeah, I had a flea circus. Oh, mommy, look at the fleas. And then I think in the book he's like a roller coaster tycoon. Please pardon the phrasing, but right? Like he has like roller coasters and like SeaWorld shit or something. I've never actually read the book, so I don't know. But I thought that was like his background. He's supposed to be like Walt Disney crossed with like it's some kind of technology
Monopoly Man.
sort of.
Yeah.
The guy
Well, you do get kind of a little bit of backstory. Like I forgot what was it, Sweden or whatever, where he opened up a flea carnival and like talking about like they kind of saw fleas, but there weren't really fleas. Now I got something fucking dinosaurs, and now people could see it and be a part of this, era that man was never a part of. So you kind of get that backstory. I kind of want to get Michael Crichton's book, by the way. At Books A Million, they have this nice leather bound Jurassic Park book that I want to get. So after watching this movie, it made me want to go get the book. So good marketing, I guess. Because
I've heard it's good. I've been told it's very good. I've been also told the sequel, Lost World, is really good, and the movie like changed it dramatically, and it's worth reading or whatever. Someone told me all about it. I was like, yeah, man, I'll read it, and that was like 10 years ago.
yeah, I also heard the books are way darker. Obviously, because Hollywood probably wanted to market this to kids. Hence, the cool toys that came out. Did anybody ever have the T-Rex?
I had the T-Rex. I had 2 Raptors. I had a Dilophosaurus. I had one of the Jeeps. I had at least Grant, and I think Muldoon, maybe, and I don't know, some other shit. I don't know. But man, I had a bunch of Jurassic Park toys.
Yeah, I never specifically had those. I just had like generic like Dollar General dinosaurs. But I did have Jurassic Park the game for Sega Genesis.
Good one.
Yes, both of them.
Which was a neat game to play. Yes.
Yeah, I had all that stuff in video games too.
Yeah, that game, I loved it, but I sucked at it so bad as a kid.
I always
like every other game in that
jump around.
It's like every other game in that genre. If it was based off of a movie that you liked in your childhood, you probably had like all this nostalgia for it. But if you went back to try to play it now, you'd break the controller because it's like, it's hard as shit. How did 6-year-old me do this? That's how I feel.
I played Rampage Edition not too long ago, and it was like, it held up great, I thought. I mean, I'm a dork who plays retro games all the time, but I thought Rampage Edition held up great.
The original one's easy too. I mean, well, if you play Grant, it's easy. If you play Raptor, it's hard.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the rich guy comes, breaks open their champagne, and then like he's like, I want you guys to come and look at this park. And they're just like, no, we got shit to do here. It's like, I'll pay for your digging for 3 years, and they're all happy and shit because obviously grants, you know how that is. As far as getting it.
I still think the biggest, like, this is a movie about cloning dinosaurs, creatures that have been dead for 65 million years. And I think the biggest suspension of disbelief in this movie is that from that point all the way to like the airport, to another airport, to a chartered helicopter, all the way out to the island, they don't once say, so what's this island all about? It's just a surprise the whole time. And I'm sure that he's like being aloof and like not telling them, but I still feel like there would have to be a moment where like the lawyer or someone would be a little bit more forthcoming with it. But
I don't think it's so. If I recall, because I asked someone something similar about this. I could be wrong if it's in the book or if it was just more speculation of some kind, but they are basically enticed by having a carrot dangled in front of them, in the sense that not only is it the discovery of things, and he's like, oh, it's a big secret surprise, you'll love it because of what you do and what you've made your entire life about, but also there's a financial carrot So maybe it's the promise of just a ton of like, hey, come with me. You're gonna like what you see, but also you're gonna get a lot of money for coming.
Oh, probably. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for this dig for 3 years, but don't ask any questions.
Yeah, and they never explicitly say that, but that would make sense. That being said, it would have been very easy for him to have said that, and then it would have just explained that whole thing.
I got a question for you guys, because they do explain how they make the clones. They
DNA. That's right.
DNA. That's right. just like you're on a Disney ride.
Yeah. The mosquito where they like take the blood out because the mosquito is like, eating the blood of every dinosaur that was ever fucking lived on planet Earth. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm not a scientist, but that seems like out of reality where they just draw the blood and then they have to like sequence it each dinosaur species. Did you guys be like, that's kind of a little bullshit, but I know it's a movie and it's fun kind of thing?
I mean, the movie's full of like bullshit science.
Yeah.
So you're ready to get to the exciting thing? We're already here now. This is the nerd in me that loves going back to watch this movie now. When this movie was made, this movie was full of shit, right? Really, well, it's full of shit, but if we're 30 years past that, and in a way, we understand so much more about that technique that they're actually doing exactly what was said, but just doing it the right way, which is you can't simply just pull it from amber where you wouldn't have it mixed with other DNA, much less it would be digested DNA, so it wouldn't be possible to take it from a different animal. That's the biggest thing that doesn't make sense. But if they do have preserved tissue or any type of DNA of an animal, they can then use that, clone it, use it, make an embryo, and then from there you actually can resurrect extinct species. It's literally what they're doing with this project to bring back the woolly mammoth, which is insane. So it's a real thing that's happening. Like technically, if there was in theory a way that they had a sample of preserved DNA, it would probably take tons of money, of course, in a couple of years. But yes, they could in fact make a dinosaur. It's insane that that's there. But the way they've oversimplified, of course, just because it's a movie and the science in it is silly, but the base premise is there. My favorite part of all of it is they try to explain it, and there's all these like logical paradoxes and things that don't make any sense, and they're like, you know what about all the pieces that are missing where it's digested and things you don't understand because we don't know the genome of the dinosaur. We'll just put frog DNA in there.
Just frogs, whatever. that is one of the few things that stood out to me in Jurassic World. I know we're talking about Jurassic Park here, but in Jurassic World, it's made like 2 decades later or something, and we now know that a lot of dinosaurs probably had feathers. And they discuss it briefly in that movie, and it's explained away by, we put frog DNA in, so it like got rid of all their feathers. And I was always like, okay, nice job, movie. That's bullshit, but nice job.
What's funny is that bullshit, though, now that we do know that, also then makes it so that the frog DNA thing doesn't even like fit, because a lot of the DNA wouldn't be compatible in that sense, because they are a completely different species in terms of derivation.
Well, they're like chimeras or mutants or something. Yeah,
right. It would make more sense if like they use chicken DNA,
like,
and then
or I've often heard another closest ancestors like an alligator, so probably that too.
So,
but then you don't get the plot point of some frogs and unisex points have been known to change from female to male. It's blah,
that's
blah,
how they
blah.
breed.
Yeah, exactly. So
life finds a way.
Yeah, life of.
Michael Crichton read in a book somewhere, some frogs can like grow a dick, and he was like, "I'll put that in my book."
I mean, I'm glad that we didn't get the Finding Nemo Jurassic Park, because that's literally what clownfish do. If I've ruined clownfish for anyone, or they have any weird things about gender, clownfish have prison rules. The biggest one gets the dick. The next biggest one gets to have the babies, and then when that biggest one dies, the next biggest one's like, well, I guess I'm dad now, and it grows a dick. That's science. So anyway.
So I got a question. When we jump around a lot, but
that's okay.
When Ned, the fat guy,
Nedry.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, see, nobody cares.
I care. He's hilarious.
So when he has the shaving cream can and he's trying to like book it to the fucking ship, and he gets lost, the shaving cream, they like zoom in on the shaving cream going into the dirt. Is that like foreshadowing? Like, hey, we're gonna make more movies.
Well, maybe they had a vague idea of what they're going to do, but the shaving cream comes back. The shaving cream is in Jurassic World.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, don't you remember they find the sample? Yeah, it's a callback.
I saw the movie once in the theaters. I don't recall that part.
Yeah, they find the Barbasol can in Jurassic World. And
I
also
always
the
thought
character-
when I saw this movie in like third grade when I was real little, I thought they show the shaving cream go into the mud, and then later Dr. Grant finds the dinosaur eggs, and I was like, oh, they grew into eggs. I thought that for like 10 years or so. Like I was stupid as shit for a long time about that. It was later that I was like, oh no, they have nothing to do with each other. It's just they're similar circumstances. And I was like, what the hell?
They were also in a mud pit beneath some branches and rocks.
Yeah, it's just camera. It's that movie language thing, right? Where the camera zooms in on the Barbasol can getting covered up by mud, and it's telling your brain this is important, but it's fucking not. So that's why my brain was like, well, something's going on here. I know it.
I almost wondered if, and I've never watched this movie with like any type of deleted scene or other thing. It almost made me wonder if they ever had the intention of a deleted scene where someone went back and dug it up and found it or something. But they did it just 20 something years later in a different movie. But yeah, they do end up finding it. So it matters then, but which is hilarious because guess what? That none of that shit would exist now. Like, right? Like 20 years after sitting in that random canister like that, buried under a bunch of stuff, those embryos are not going to be viable anymore. So
how do you know? Are you a fucking embryo expert?
No, but I'm a fucking doctor and I work in a genetics lab. So,
well, whatever. Yeah. That can mean anything. There's like 50 million different kinds of fucking doctors.
I mean, that's true. Show into a science.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're talking science about the science fiction movie.
You're wearing a damn DuckTales t-shirt right now.
I am a man of culture. Quack, quack.
Before we get off of like the bullshit science in this movie, though, there is one thing that one of my favorite pieces of movie trivia is the fact that famously they fictionalized the raptors. Like in actuality, velociraptors are like, I've always heard them described as Labrador sized. They're actually quite small. Yeah. And so they made them bigger for the movie because it's more exciting if they're like human sized. And then after the movie came out in the mid or late 90s or something, they discovered a new breed of velociraptor called the Utah Raptor that is in fact about that size. So in a weird prediction of like real life shit, Jurassic Park invented a raptor that later ended up to more or less be accurate.
I always like, even as an adult, like, I always thought like raptors were like the mini bosses. Like I always thought T-Rex was like the main boss. Like I always thought like at the end of the movie, like there would be some type of face off with the T-Rex, but they made the raptors because they're so intelligent and like they prey on people. That's why you had that one scene with the guy with the shotgun. He's like, clever girl, and he gets fucking eaten alive. Like that's a fuck. I love that scene, by the way. It has like a mixture of horror in this film, by the way. Like when it gets near the end, there's like
the raptors are supposed to. They used a lot of they used a lot of slasher movie cues to film those scenes. Like there's some director's commentary, something where they talk about it. I watched on YouTube a long time ago, but they just watch slasher movies and like, okay, this is why this works. Let's put this in our dinosaur movie.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't aware, Spielberg, he'd done a couple of movies before this. We talked about Et. He had this movie called Jaws that he had made. It was kind of a big deal. It was about sharks. I think a lot of it, to me at least, when I watched the movie, there's a lot of similarities between the two, even though, I mean, they're different settings, of course.
Yeah, the damn animatronics.
Was that the movie about the guy that was hiding sharks in his business or something from the Nazis?
No, that was
hiding sharks.
No, that's a guy.
He was saving sharks from the Nazis.
He was saving sharks from Private Ryan. That's what he was doing.
I know nothing. Oh goodness. So anyway, that we've gotten way off topic, but really, the elements of Jaws does mix well together. Like there's a lot of the same elements, but you're right, slasher elements are there too. What were you gonna say, Andy?
I was gonna mention. somewhat famously, he agreed to make Jurassic Park so that he can make the studio crud loads of money, so that they would give him the license to go make Schindler's List, because he wanted to make Schindler's List, and they're like, no, we're not going to make a 3-hour black and white movie about the Holocaust. You're crazy. He was like, what if I make this dinosaur bullshit? They're like, fine. And then the dinosaur bullshit was amazing, and then Schindler's List was also amazing, and Hollywood was like, shit, we should just let this guy make movies.
Yeah, and he became one of the guys. It's like you can literally just do whatever you want, and that's just how it is, how it's been.
I thought he was already that guy.
I mean, he pretty much was, but for some reason, he had made like Jaws and E.T. and fucking Indiana Jones and all this other
Close
stuff.
Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, Close Encounters, and he was like, I want to make a movie about the Holocaust, and they said no, and he said fuck you, and like made this deal, and then made it. And they're like, it's fine, you make whatever, because they thought he could only make popcorn munching blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
And so then he proved him wrong.
It's like the James Cameron thing with Titanic. He's like, yeah, I'll make you a bunch of movie. I just want to go see that goddamn boat. Like, speaking of that, that is one thing that's interesting about this movie too. It constantly plays building up to the stuff that leads to horror later on in the movie. It's building on that whole thing of, oh, this is all great and fantastic, but Jeff Goldblum's character just straight up calls out Hammond and is like, okay, yeah, well, this is great and all, but I mean, you're exploiting something that is very dangerous. We don't have any idea how this is actually going to work. Like, you realize what you're bringing into the world. And he famously says, your scientists only focused on, or were too busy trying to figure out if they could do it. They never asked if they should, or I think it's paraphrasing, I guess, but.
Is he a mathematician or is he a scientist?
He's a chaostician or something.
He's a chaostician.
Yeah, was that it? Okay.
Yeah, they say so. I think by technical terms, he's mathematician that has the idea of chaos theory.
Yeah, they mentioned he's like a trendy choice for a consultant to bring in, and I guess he's like a rock star of the math world. I have no fucking clue.
They were like, we need to bring in a nerd, and that's why he wears leather, and he's like really good with
he's
ladies,
like one of those celebrity intellectuals.
Yeah, it's like they brought in they brought in Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, yeah.
I think he's cooler than Bill Nye
or Mr. Beast.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah, he's definitely cooler than Bill Nye. Jeff Goldblum in this movie it's hard to not say it's cool.
The fictional character of Ian Malcolm is better than Bill Nye. We all agree.
Yeah, we're all.
It's not even a discussion.
It's not even a.
You see how smooth that motherfucker was in the Jeep with Dr. Sadler? He's like, listen, he's like tugging on her hair a little bit, and he's like, hey, I want to do an experiment with you. Give me your hand, and he touching her hand very gently and dropping little drops of water. It's like caressing her fucking hand, and she's all into it.
He's literally making her wet.
Yeah, Suzanne. Oh, yep. You're right. Suzanne watched this movie with me because she was like, "Oh yeah, I love Jeff Goldblum. I'll watch this movie with you." In the moment that he gets injured, like in the T-Rex, like
she balls.
Him, she didn't ball. She's like, "Well, I got a headache. I'm gonna go to sleep." And like she literally stayed to watch
shirtless later.
Him.
He's that's the best part.
No. Well, hold on. She's got a process to get ready for bed. So she goes to get ready for bed and comes back out to come see if the shirtless scene had happened yet. And she just was there before it happened. And she's like, oh, great. And she just stood there waiting. And then she saw him shirtless and said, okay, I'm going to bed now. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? She literally just watched the Jeff Goldblum cut of the movie. She missed all the other good parts in the movie. So I don't know. Oh, well, I guess everyone's got like their weird like celebrity hall pass. I guess 93 Jeff Goldblum is hers, but
he's doing apartment commercials now.
Yeah, he's a bit timeless. He's and actually like in the movies, like I mean the other movies that I've watched, he's in the Jurassic Park movie. I think he's in the last one too, but again,
I heard they were all in the last one. That was like the draw or something.
Yeah, well, and I think that might be the only thing that's a draw about it. But I haven't watched it, so I can't criticize.
Did they all die and get embarrassed and shamed and everything?
Like, they were all eaten by the giant like oceanic.
It was a multiverse of Jurassic Park
dinosaur. that giant megalodon whale dinosaur they made.
Was Dr. Grant brought low and made to be a pathetic shell of his former self?
Wait, did dinosaurs eat man and did woman inherit the earth? Because if so,
No.
I'll watch it.
I'm pretty sure John Hammond was buried in a pet cemetery and brought back to life so he could answer for his crimes.
What
And
if
then
John
woman
Hammond
inherited
created
the
like
earth.
this contingency plan? Because like it's kind of like the Walt Disney thing where he like
He got
cryogenically froze himself.
frozen.
He cloned himself. He's like,
mean,
this
he
is my
could.
DNA. When I expire, clone myself, and so I can continue my quest to create a Jurassic Park.
That would have been the best twist in Jurassic World, is if there was like a younger guy, and in the
This
second or third movie, you learn that he's Richard, or he's Hammond's clone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would've-
he's
That
like
would have been
20 something.
great.
Yeah.
He was
That's
like, "Look,
fucking
I knew
awesome.
I was gonna die. I decided I'll go ahead and start a clone of myself." And then he dies before he can like, I don't know, like something weird about the clone. So it still like has his drive to create this multi-billion-dollar dinosaur industry, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have his morals. Like it doesn't have a family or grandkids. So it's
No.
like an immoral rich guy, you know, the perfect villain. In other words,
And there's
Not
another
good.
one
Yeah.
too. And
I'm
they
gonna write
get
this shit. I'm gonna write it.
there's another one too, and they fill the holes with frog DNA so that they can fuck each other.
They got a frog. They got a frog Hammond.
Yeah, but they're all
It
female.
turns
They
into
can't-
a woman
can't do
because it's
that.
in a male-only Hammond environment.
There it is. We did it. Jurassic Park 7.
Oh my goodness! This is like weird. Like It's Always Sunny when they make all the Lethal Weapon clones. Yeah, we're just making our own version. To be fair, if he did do that plot twist, the best little thing ever to bring back would be him showing up and someone saying, "How did you do this?" And then he's like, "I spared no expense." Like it writes itself. Come on. Oh man.
That's the reveal. It zooms in. He's like, I spared no expense. Like, how did you do this? How did any of this happen? He goes, I spared no expense. And then there's then there it like goes back and shows the health failing Hammond to decide that he's going to use this genetic material.
Yeah, he looks
Someone
like
pricks his finger and he goes, that hurts, John.
Yeah, he looks like the fucking Sith Emperor. He's fucking Palpatine. He has his finger out. Take it. Take my dino DNA.
No, it's just a Barbasol can with a bunch of his DNA in it. It's fucking...
He has like a fucking
He just in a Barbasol can.
he has like a villain arc where he's like, my past self, my
Oh,
first
that's so
edition was
stupid.
weak. Because literally at the end of the movie Jurassic Park, Grant is like, I officially don't endorse your park, and then
He's like, neither do I.
and neither do I.
Yeah.
And
Lesson was learned.
Oh,
yes,
we've joked a lot about like the bullshit science in this and like the funny aspect of him and cloning himself. But honestly, this is a nearly perfect movie.
hmm
Oh,
This
it's so
Like this
phenomenally
movie
good.
hits on every cylinder. The casting is perfect, the action is perfect, the suspense is perfect, the horror is perfect.
The
everything's
musical
perfect.
score.
The music is perfect. Have you guys ever heard? It was going around the internet a few years ago. The theme song to Jurassic Park slowed down 20 times. Have you ever listened to it?
Oh my god, yes.
It's like perfect. It just feels so good to listen to. And
I
you
might do
realize
that.
like even the theme to this movie is perfect. Everything about this movie was like just finely tuned to make just the movie.
Yeah. There's also something wonderful. I mean, I've watched this movie, goodness, 100 times. It's literally one of my favorite movies as a kid, like as it was like any boy that grew up in like the 90s, basically. But
Yeah.
there is something just so wondrous about, and again, kudos to their acting, of the very first time they see a dinosaur,
Oh my god, yes.
or the time they see the Triceratops.
yeah.
It is just mesmerizing. And I don't know, like, again, you guys need to watch the 4K one. I know, like, the whole, graphics are great. Seriously. It looks phenomenal.
I don't even have a 4K television, so no.
Well, figure it out. Just come over.
2K,
I'm gonna
bitch.
watch it on my fucking phone.
Can
Like
come
a
over and
Neanderthal.
drink and watch it. And every time he says, I spared no expense, we'll take a shot of something, and then we'll be really
7.
drunk.
7 shots.
Yeah, 7 shots. Like you counted 2. I'm glad, because. But really though, it was fantastic to watch that way. But there's something that almost like took me back to like that childlike feeling, like kid at Christmas, of them like discovering it for the first time. It's just so cool. And again, this movie is, like you said, it's near perfect. I know we're joking on about all the nonsense and other stuff, but again,
It's
this
a
movie's
fun
not
movie.
for that. It's a popcorn movie.
It
Yeah.
comes
The whole
from a
point.
place of love, not of derision.
Right.
Exactly.
Like, I think it comes from the level of familiarity we all have with this. Like, can any of you even guess at how many times you've seen this movie?
It's hard so much.
Oh, it's over 100 for me, for sure.
Did you know it took a year for it to go on VHS, by the way?
That's the way they used to do things.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably in theaters for months and months, right?
Probably.
Weirdly enough, this might be the movie that I own in the most versions. I think I have now, especially. I think I have a VHS. I have the DVD. I think I have like the weird HD DVD.
Do you have the Betamax tape and the Laserdisc?
Those predate the movies.
Yeah. I have.
They were still coming out.
I have the 4K ones. I have
Laserdisc
5 versions of this.
Do you have the PSP UMD?
Yeah. Do you have the PSP UMD?
I think that's a real thing.
I'm not the biggest fan apparently, but I have.
Do you have the Game Boy Advance video cart?
Oh, you like Jurassic Park, huh? Name every dinosaur.
Yeah, name every dinosaur.
Yeah, needless to say, I watched this movie a few times.
Speaking of naming every dinosaur, when I was watching the movie this time, I paused it when Newman. I'm just gonna call him Newman. When Newman's stealing the embryos, one of them is, I had to Google it. Metricanthosaurus. I was like, what the fuck? I know all the dinosaurs, and I've never heard of that dinosaur. So I looked it up. You know how there's like there's like that Mega Tyrannosaurus that's in 3. And then there's the Tyrannosaurus, and there's Allosaur, which was my favorite dinosaur as a kid. And then like you go way down to the Velociraptor, Utah Raptor, maybe. It's like right in between. It looks like a T-Rex, except it's like 6.5 feet tall. And I was like, oh, they should have just used that. That would have been great.
Mini Rex.
Yeah, it's like a little tiny T-Rex. I was like, oh, he's adorable.
I like the T-Rex face turn at the end.
That's right. Yeah,
it was no face turn. Remember, one thing I noticed watching this movie again is they say something. They establish something. They say something earlier in the movie, and it always pays off. The Grant says like the T-Rex doesn't want to be fed; it wants to hunt. You know what it did the entire movie? It hunted.
It did.
It was hunting. He was like, so he came in. The giant door was open for him to come in. So he came in, or she came in, I should say. And he was like, "Oh shit, snacks!" And he just started eating.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about that and how it plays out is in the parody episode of this movie in Rick and Morty when they go to Anatomy Park. I don't know if you guys have watched it. I'm assuming some of you.
I think you and I are the only ones who are.
So, just a brief thing in that episode, he turns we're so cool because we watch Rick and Morty. We're deep.
No, I mean that's the quote at the end. It's like,
we're cool.
Were we cool?
Yeah. But in Anatomy Park episode, Rick turns a hobo into a theme park. Like he makes his insides, so he shrinks him down, and it's literally the premise of it is Jurassic Park.
Oh wait, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're being hunted down by like gonorrhea and hepatitis A and a bunch of other diseases. And hepatitis C is the T-Rex and comes out of nowhere and saves them. and it hunts down all the other things and then runs off. And they're like,
does it give him a thumbs up before it leaves?
Yeah, it kind
That's
of.
what I was thinking of. Because at the end of this movie, where have I seen this scene? And the T-Rex, I thought it was Robot Chicken or something. No, that's what it was.
It's Rick and Morty. He's like, was he a good guy? No, I don't know. Maybe. Because in the joke, of course, is hepatitis C will kill you eventually, but all these other things will kill you immediately, and they're all vying for contention. So
the T-Rex was chaotic.
So many layers.
It was out for itself.
Like hepatitis C. It's just there.
By the way, that shot was perfect. You know, after she kills all the velociraptors and shit, then the banner comes down. Raw. Perfect.
Yeah. Would you recommend this movie?
No.
Too scary.
Fair.
This movie doesn't pass the Bechdel test, so no.
What's the Bechdel test?
Actually, I think it might. The Bechdel test is 2 women have to have a conversation in the movie, and it can't be about a man.
Oh, okay. Let's make up random bullshit.
It's like a semi-internet joke. It's like,
I know.
It doesn't pass the Bechdel test. It's fucking sexist ass movie. Like
that's like the women in the fridge thing in comics. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just really
dumb. Same tongue-in-cheek bullshit.
I mean, not counting the girl, but did 2 women actually have a conversation in this movie?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Ellie Sadler and the little girl speak at some
Lex.
point.
That's not a woman. That's a girl.
She's a
Oh,
hacker.
that counts. Yeah,
No, it doesn't count.
She's a hacker. That's right. She knows Unix.
She knows Unix. I was like, that's
She
not
has
how
come of age. She's
that's not how
learning
computer
OS.
systems work.
I mean,
in
technically-
1993.
I love that 90s bullshit hacker shit where it's like, I know this.
I was talking to my brother that was watching this. He's like, this isn't as bad as some other hacker scenes are.
Sure.
Like movie the
firewall's down. Oh my god, the thermostat is going off. I gotta hurry. They're coming.
I love that the UI is like blocks within blocks. It's like they were like, DOS is boring. We're not doing that.
That was like if Windows 3.1 was cool. It's like that's what that was.
Yeah,
It was Unix.
there was a good supporting cast, by the way. Samuel L. Jackson as a fucking nerd that he was in there.
He was
Hold on to your butts.
He was like a blue collar. Like if there was a white collar, blue collar guy, that's what he was.
Yeah.
Color.
He was got to keep Newman in check. And Newman
Yeah,
honestly,
couldn't
like
get paid enough.
the joke is like, it's Newman from Seinfeld, but Wayne Knight does really good in this movie.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does.
He's a real asshole. I like it.
Yeah.
No wonder you're extinct.
I really like the scene where he says he's going to go to the vending machines and get a snack, and it's his cover up for like, it's gonna be running a lot of lines code, so some minor systems might go.
It's like the most awkward shit ever.
Yeah,
it's
he's like clearly awkward, and they're like, "Go the fuck away, we hate you." Like
it's like up to that point, he's like super cool about this entire play. And he's like, "I'm gonna be able to do this. It's gonna be fucking awesome. It's gonna be great." And then he's like, "Hey guys, I'm gonna go to the vending machine. I just figured you guys maybe would like want something because I need I've had a lot of sweets and I need some salts to balance that out. And I'm just gonna go anyway. The system's gonna be down."
Yeah, it's like, I just like it. It's a nice touch to that part because he's clearly like, he's not a freaking double agent, secret agent guy or anything. He's
just
like
a nerd,
nervous. And
The
he's a
funniest-
nerd. He's a big fat computer guy, and he bid the lowest price for this job. And he has money problems, amorphous money problems that we don't know about.
The funniest part about that scene to me is like it's clearly established that like he's kind of a dick and nobody likes him there, more or less. To me, at least that's the subtext of everybody's interactions with him.
Well, and the last scene before that with him, he was arguing with him and immediately about money already and seemed like super cool and whatever. And then that happens.
And then he's like, "Yes, Dad," after he tells him, "He's like, I just expect people to like pay for their mistakes." And he just goes like, "Hey guys, you want anything from the vending machine?" And everybody just stops and turns and looks at him because that's like so out of character for him.
He's like uncharacteristically nice. The whole time he's like super smooth about it. It's like someone having a plan in their head. Like they had the conversation of how something would go down. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this," and then he gets to it. "Hey guys, do you guys want something to eat? It's gonna be that." And he just like loses control of everything.
It's like when you're cool in your head and you're like a total idiot.
Also, when I was a kid, I appreciated the scene, but the older I get, the more it's just about my favorite scene in the movie is where his Jeep gets hung up and the Dilophosaurus is there. Because he's like, you're not so bad. You're not so bad. Here, stick, stupid, stick. No wonder you went extinct. I'm going to run you over when I come back down here. That's like, it's the funniest part of the whole fucking movie. And then it kills him.
Yeah, it opens the door.
I always wondered, though, he closes the door. Does Dilophosaurus just like starve to death in that Jeep, I guess?
No, it has problem solving skills because it entered the Jeep from the other side.
Yeah,
I always
got in there
assumed
somehow.
like it blinds him, and then I always assumed it like got in the Jeep ahead of him.
It's possible because the door was open for like several minutes.
The door, he left the door wide open. That's how I thought it got in. And he's blinded, so he just runs in there and he's like, "Oh my god!" And then he looks in the passenger seat, and there's this scary ass lizard that eats him.
Maybe that was his buddy.
Yeah, I always wondered that too. Is there more than one Dilophosaurus, or is it the same diabolical Dilophosaurus?
Well, they made like different camera angles. It seemed like there was multiple.
I always like to think he teleported in there.
I like to think he just
transmission.
I like to think it was like the Raptors. Remember, like that cheesy eye rolling scenes. Like, hopefully they don't open doors, and then the next scene
it shows it opening a door.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that's great filmmaking. If you ask me, like
he said,
they have to show the Raptors can open doors. They have to show that, so they might as well set it up with something clever like that.
They said earlier,
That
it's
was
like they show problem solving skills and they remember.
They remember.
So,
Yeah.
Goes
But,
back to what I was
set
saying.
everything up.
They establish something and it pays off later.
That's actually, you mentioned it in filmmaking. Like with this movie, what it does so well that other films would, or other people would gain a benefit by watching it, is how they spoon feed an audience enough, but not too much. It's enough to make those scenes
They give
perfect,
you
but not like that
little,
it's cringe.
they give you little nibbles. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, this guy says this guy says this, and this. And if you remember and you have problem solving skills, it'll pay off.
And also, the door opening thing sets up like a scene that's scary, but I think has the directing of like some of the great visual comedy. It's like at an Abbott and Costello level, because they're in the control room and Dr. Grant, like they know the Raptors are out there. Dr. Grant slams his shoulder against the door, looks at the door and says, "We need the locks." And as he stands up, the Raptor is in the window and he goes and like puts steam on the glass, and then you can see its eye go, and then the door handle turns, and it's like terrifying. But also, if you just objectively look at that scene,
It's hilarious.
it's hilarious. Like, it's
Yeah.
directed so fucking well.
Now I know where the Halloween H2O fucking scene comes from.
Yeah.
where fucking Michael Myers is in the door window and shit. Just like the Jurassic.
Plot twist. Michael Myers is a velociraptor.
Yeah, his soul
Must
is
be
in
it.
there. Like Chucky
Yeah.
and shit.
He was just a broken child with frog DNA. So they, anyway,
I got two things I want to bring up. One, I did like the transformation from Grant hating kids to like being a father figure for the scientists, the rich guys, Hammond's grandchildren. Which, by the way, the grandchildren just like show up. Like their mother and father are like not there. They just like come out of the nowhere.
They're going through a divorce, so I'd say he brought them there to be like, "Hey, come to the park, check it out, have a good time."
Right, yeah, he's
I've got a ton of
take
food.
their minds off it.
Yeah. And the second thing I want to bring up is, man, that fucking kid takes a lot of bumps. One, he gets fucking thrown off by the T-Rex in the Jeep hanging in the tree and shit, and then the car, the truck almost kills him, and then I forgot what other thing almost landed on him, and then he got electrocuted on the fence by 10,000 volts and shit, and almost died.
Pretty sure he got nerve damage from that. He couldn't walk right after that.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, he's
like,
all
Grant is like,
shaky
your
and
hair's
stuff.
standing up. Like the number one thing they tell you, like, when you're in shock and all that stuff, to like, don't eat or drink, right? Like when you're in shock, is that one?
I think some time passes. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, but he's just totally fine after this, and he's fully. It's a movie. I shouldn't be like nitpicking, but I want to bring up, Andy. You said this movie was almost perfect. What was the bad part that is the almost taken away?
I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to call anything 100% perfect,
Mhm.
but honestly, I don't know if you guys noticed this. This movie, the credits start at exactly 2 hours and 9 seconds.
Yes.
This movie is the perfect length. It's got the perfect soundtrack. It has the perfect casting. And I'm sure there's something you could improve about this movie, but I'll be honest, I'm just like some jerk off who does a podcast. I'm not like a movie making savant like Steven Spielberg. So I'm not the person who's going to find a way to improve Jurassic Park. I'm sure there's a way, but I don't fucking know what it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it perfect, and I'm with you. I don't know what I could like critique to be like, well, it's missing this. I had a blast as a child and still have that nostalgia feeling. I guess the only nitpicking I can do in 2023 is when the dinosaurs are close, the CGI is like, it's a little dated. But like when the dinosaurs are far away, like the CGI is fine.
I guess some of the CGI in this movie is better than CGI I've seen in the last 3 years.
Yes, I will say
Some of
that.
some of that CGI is better than stuff that's in like the Star Wars prequels and like
100%.
other early 2000s CG. It's like on
Yeah.
par with that, or it's better.
It's also fun to watch and be like, that's CG, that's a puppet, that's an animatronic, that's another puppet, that's CG. Like they used everything. They used all the tools. They didn't just say we're going to hire a team of animators and they're going to animate all the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
they actually got people to build dinosaurs.
They spared no expense. Quite literally.
If you just don't want to, have all that shit taken out and take you out of the movie, just get a CRT TV and a VHS tape and watch it. Then it won't bother you.
That being said,
it didn't come to mind for me at all. I watched it in standard definition. I didn't once go, that's dated poorly. I thought it all looked great.
I watched it in this 4K thing and did not have a single concern about the CGI. It looked fantastic.
I know. I'm with Dubs there too. I did notice a couple times. It was it's a little old. But
yeah, I didn't say it was like terrible, but like you could notice like, hey, green screen. I could tell it's a green screen. Obviously, there's no fucking dinosaur there, but what I'm saying is like you see the outlines of the actors, and then like obviously a screen behind it.
I'm one of the biggest proponents of like some people get real hung up on like the quality of special effects in movies, and like to the point that they'll hold it against the movie. And I always go, you can't do that. It's not fair. You have to consider when it came out.
Yeah. It's like the 60 frames per second, people. Fuck off.
but like in the case of this movie, it's all the highest quality stuff that they could have done at the time. Mm-hmm. And it's still good to this day for like when it came out.
Yeah. And one last thing, Grant hating technology is funny to me. Like he like hitting the TV monitor, then he hates seat belts and shit, and then the little arm thing with the eggs and stuff. But
he's a man out of time.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, I have nothing bad to say. I'm totally I guarantee you everybody's gonna say recommend, but I recommend this film.
Yeah, I mean, right.
If you like movies, watch this movie. It's one of those movies.
Honestly, I feel like I'd be hard pressed to find someone who hadn't already seen this movie. But if you're one of those people, then by all means, please watch this movie.
Can you think of somebody that would not like this movie?
Maybe very young children, but even then, I don't know.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, Evie's too young to watch this.
Yeah, parts of it are pretty extreme, so I guess
they're scary. Yeah.
What? Really?
Yeah, Evie gets scared by like over a lot of like really trivial things still. Like she's 4, so yeah, I would totally think that like most of this movie, I think she'd really like. She'd love the things with the dinosaurs where they're just majestic, but the scary stuff with the dinosaurs, she'd probably be terrified of.
You're gonna have to desensitize her to it eventually.
Well, yeah, we gotta work on it. I mean, it all depends. Like, I mean, it's all about what you're doing, right? She's watching Disney movies. I was playing Mortal Kombat when I was 5. You know, like it varies.
It does vary.
Weird twisted childhood, but that being said, yeah, this is one of the all-time movies. If you are a human, if you breathe oxygen, you should watch this.
I can think of like one person. Everybody knows one person that's like a super contrarian that doesn't like anything good, and they don't have a good reason. They just say it's not good. There's that one guy. Everybody's got that one friend.
Sure.
I always
that friend is me. No.
I was about to say it's you most of the time. I was going to say it unironically.
What are you talking about? I always explain why I don't like something.
Right. Yeah. But even then, like you're good on this one. So yeah, 5 out of 5 dentists would approve. They would want you to watch this for your health. So
lots of teeth in this movie.
There's
a lot of teeth.
So Chaz, what is the next movie since we don't have a list?
It gets ready. Oh man, I've been like shuffling it, and I've been thinking about which one to do next. I don't have a coin to flip.
We're watching Lost World. No, I'm kidding.
All right, so we're gonna do this. Heads, it's one tells us the other because I have to let fate decide. Okay, it's originally what I was gonna do. All right, so next week we will be discussing American History X.
Oh my god!
The fuck?
What a fucking turn of events!
Yeah, we were gonna watch that on 4th of July. It was gonna be my first movie.
They're both from the 90s. That's all I'm getting so far.
Oh well, Andy's taking his first guess.
No, you said we had to watch 3 movies first.
I'm kidding. Yeah, maybe 3 movies first, but yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah, watch American History X. Very different than Jurassic Park. Or is it?
But it's Edward Furlong's fucking second only good movie, I guess. That and Terminator 2. Unless there was another movie that he was in that was good, but
It's got Captain Sisko in it from Deep Space Nine.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yep.
It's got Ed Norton.
Yes.
Yeah, Hulk's in there. That's what he's famous for, right?
Yes.
Briefly.
And that boys club he started or something.
Yeah, the one that you don't talk about.
Oh shit, we already talked. We don't talk about Bruno either, but whatever.
Talking about the sound of freedom.
All right. So remember to watch American History X as the mystery theme goes on.
I can hear the cracking in his voice as he just said that. He's like, "Why are we watching this?" I think I have their dubs off.
Like you ever see the meme of the lady with math equations like in front of her? That's me right now, where I'm just like, where's the theme? I don't know. But before we get into last word, let's hear this ad.
Wrestling nerds, wrestling weebs, wrestling fans. If you're looking for a different kind of podcast, one that goes over actual big wrestling news, I mean real stories, not somebody getting divorced or baseless rumors or whatnot, and get some color, we got that. We also do reviews of wrestling from the past, but sometimes we also do wrestling from the modern day too, if it's something that interests us at the time. Other than that, I would say the main attraction is just three guys who have been lifelong wrestling fans doing what wrestling fans do. Cutting up, cracking jokes, and just enjoying the entertainment wrestling can provide. However that comes. If you want to catch Getting Some Color, you can catch it bi-weekly on Thursdays, 10 p.m. Eastern, usually.
Usually. Imagine like the crossover of Jurassic Park with fucking American History X. Just fucking just spare no expense.
I thought you were going to say the
Fucking
crossover of Jurassic Park and wrestling. I swear to God.
Oh man. So what you're saying is the Nazis. So Hammond was a Nazi and he made dinosaurs.
Yeah, and he said spare no expense before he curb stomps.
So there's Nazi raptors and they're
Yeah,
really
it's the stomp.
violent.
You can't say curb stomp, it's the stomp.
Yes.
Stomp,
All right.
not stomp.
Last word is where we talk about what the hell we watch and playing or doing. And if we have any news at the end, we will talk about it because we definitely have some news containing to Microsoft. But I'll go first. What?
I guess it doesn't matter. Chaz, did you fix the spelling of Jurassic in your name?
I sure did.
It was bothering me forever, and I was like, I'm not going to be a dick. I'm not going to say anything. But it changed, and I was like, wait, what?
I did a total weird dyslexia thing there and typed it the wrong way. I've typed it like 6 times right before we started for different things, like writing a list and then adding it to our Google Doc. And of course, that's the time that's the time I would misspell it. So when I caught it, I was like, oh no. And you guys were talking, I just changed it.
What's up, Snoopy? Welcome to the stream.
Snoop Dogg.
What's up?
Snoop Doggy Dog. Sorry. But
We got a doctor in here. Can't spell Jurassic.
and I almost spelled Unix. I did like 3 times.
That's an offshoot of Unix.
Yeah.
It probably is. I mean,
Linux, Unix,
Knoppix.
Yeah.
It's like a mixture. So, with my 3 weeks off, I did some things. One, I got a PC now. I'm not on a laptop anymore. My brother decided he didn't give it to me. I had to buy it from him because he's an entrepreneur and needs to make money. So I bought it. It has a 3060 Ti. I don't know graphics cards and stuff, and it has an i5. It's a micro case, so I'm back running and I'm playing games on PC again, so I'm happy about that. And plus, I got my big ass monitor, so that's why my face is lit up compared to when I had my tiny laptop.
I noticed.
Yeah. So Andy saw me stream again because I'm back to streaming. I played some ice soccer, as he says, which is NHL 23. I'm going to be playing some single player games. I just wanted to see how it would run. I am gonna like ghetto rig it a little bit as far as like audio wise because I want to sit on my recliner, which is over there. But I don't want to keep on moving this fucking microphone in front of my face all the time. So I'm just going to use the webcam microphone and just be sitting and like talking normally as I play some single player games. Yeah, anyway, nobody really shows up anyway besides Andy and like random people. So I'm not going to be talking a lot. So whatever. I saw Indiana Jones and the Dementia of Dynasty, whatever it's called.
The Dynasty of Dementia.
Yeah. I like Indy, and we reviewed 3 of the movies. We didn't do Crystal Skull, I believe. Did we leave Crystal Skull out?
We did
watch it. Or did we leave it out?
Yeah.
I remember us. I don't remember us reviewing it. I think we left it out.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah. So it still stands. The last one in my books ended in the 90s. But
80s.
Yeah, 80s, whatever.
No, Fate of Atlantis. You're right. 92.
Yeah.
It was on PCs for DOS.
Yeah. So I decided to give Disney a chance, or Lucas Films and stuff, and I was like, maybe they're not gonna ruin Indiana Jones. Like maybe.
They already did.
Well, they did, but I was like, maybe something different. Maybe something's gonna happen. The first 30 minutes is fine. Like the adventures, like there's a scene where he's on a train fighting Nazis and stuff. And I was like,
sounds like good stuff.
And I was like, this is fucking cool. But then I started like seeing some things like they de-aged Harrison Ford. So imagine like a 78-year-old man looking young but moving like a 70-year-old man in the de-aged thing. So I was like,
I have to correct you. 80.
80? Oh.
I'm sorry. I thought Crystal Skull was the last movie. God damn it, 15 years ago.
Look, if they insist on making more Indiana Jones movies, can they just recast Indiana Jones? I know how blasphemous people on the internet think it is. Oh, it can only ever be Indiana Jones. James Bond's been doing it for years, and they've been doing a really good job at it. Sorry, started
sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes, most of the time.
I
would venture to say most of the time.
I mean,
they have recast Indiana Jones.
They have successfully recast him like it multiple times. So I would agree. You know, like at this point, you're gonna have Indiana Jones with the whip, and he's in a walker, like, or he's in a wheelchair, and he's just like doing.
He's in a sarcophagus.
He's gonna fucking crash his plane 1,000 times.
Fuck.
His granddaughter in the movie, Phoebe Waller, she's unbearable. And I'm not like being that type of like, oh, there's a woman in it, and then they make them look stupid.
Oh, I hate women. They instantly ruin every movie they're in whenever they come on screen.
Movies, they should be objects.
But she sucks, man. I don't like her acting at all. They written her to the point where I was just like, get the fuck. Like they tried to make her likable, but even when they were trying to make her likable, she's still an asshole. And I was like,
I've seen her in the trailer, but it's really just like she's there and she says Indiana Jones's name a couple times, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah. After that Nazi train thing, like the action and the adventure just feels soulless. Like this is where the 80-year-old thing comes in. Like Harrison Ford should not be doing this. I commend him doing it. But I'm with you, Andy. Like they should just make Indiana Jones like it could be interchangeable with anybody, like anybody on an adventure.
I mean, they had the Young Adventures of Indiana Jones, and that guy from Boondock Saints played him. Like
Sean Patrick Flannery.
That's right. That's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that kind of thing. Or the best solution, just don't make any more.
Yes.
Just don't make any more Indiana Jones movies.
Please.
That's the best solution. But if you must make more, is what I'm saying.
But overall, Crystal Skull was better. Because I felt
that's outrageous. That is outrageous.
Yes.
No, I've heard that though from people too. Is like, well, I think probably the most fair thing I heard was like, Crystal Skull was good for like the first half, and then it fell the fuck apart in the second half.
Sure.
And this one is like, it was kind of good in the beginning. It sucked really bad in the middle, and the last 15 minutes was like kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's from Red Letter Media, by the way.
Yeah. And then Snoopy writes,
Incapacitated Jones.
That's great.
Yeah,
Incapacitated Jones and the Dynasty of Dementia. There it is.
Yeah,
Oh
so
my
I heard
goodness.
Incontinent Jones the other day too.
Incontinent. I saw
Damn.
Incontinent Jones whenever the movie like first came. Like they had the first trailer out.
Be
Oh,
careful,
man.
you'll rile up James Mangold and say you're saying shit about ageism or something.
oh, by the
I'll
way,
just straight up say it. I just am.
Comics.
I'm just look, Harrison.
What'd you
Ford
say?
wanted-
Comic skate? Is that the word you just fucking said?
You're not allowed to say that. No.
Well, your boy Zach made a video because
Zach, you made a video?
I make
No, no.
videos all the time.
Making one right now.
I made a
little
video in
history
8 years.
little history lesson. Your boy Zach made videos, and that's what kind of like started off Comicsgate and all that stuff, where he was like reviewing comics, and they were just like terrible, and it needed to change, and it just snowballed from there. But anyway,
Real quick, I'm sorry to jump right in the middle of your story, but real quick, I meant to send this to you guys the other day, but I did see a tweet that said, "Hey, a comic book store in my town is going out of business, and everything's 75% off. Here are pictures of," and it was like a picture of American comics, DC and Marvel, and like all the shelves were still full. Here's a picture of the manga section, everything was gone. Here's a picture of the wargaming section, everything was gone.
Yes.
And it was like, this is the state of American comics. I was like, God damn.
It's the truth, man.
It's true though. Like the stories.
Sorry, but keep going.
The stories are just terrible. But anyway, your boy Zach made a video where he was like shitting on like YouTubers, which there is some people that like do YouTube videos that are automatically shitting and haven't even seen the movie. But there are tons of YouTubers like Nerdrotic, Geeks and Gamers. What's the other one? The Critical Drinker and all that stuff. They go see the movie, which, you know, they call them alt-right Nazis and all that stuff. And, you know, but they go still pay the mouse money. Like, so I don't know what makes him Nazi about that. But he like started complaining and he started saying like ageism and stuff. And I was like, no, your boy Zach, you're falling off the wagon.
No, I was talking about, it's like everybody knows that one guy that's like super contrarian. He's one of those guys. Also, he has like the weirdest fucking opinions about movies. He has a whole other channel where he just reviews movies. And sometimes you're like, yeah, you're right about that movie. And then other times it's like, what the fuck are you saying about this movie? It's like, it's all over the place.
By the way, Snoopy, thank you for following or subscribing to the channel.
Yes, Snoop.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched Indiana Jones. No, I did not see The Sounds of Freedom because I commend what the movie's about as far as like opening people's eyes. But I like in summertime, I don't want to go be depressed watching children being trafficked. Like, if anything, I'll see that when I'm at my home and probably
Jones get raped.
Yeah, he's getting raped by fucking Insidious.
That's a South Park joke. That was not my joke.
Insidious is fucking owning that Indiana Jones movie too, because I don't even know why they're making a sequel to that fucking movie franchise, Insidious. But whatever.
Something about a red door. I saw an ad for it.
Yeah,
there's always been a red door.
Well,
but they want to paint it black.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. I played
from the monkeys.
From the zombies.
How many more people can we make mad?
That's like that meme, do or do not, there is no try. And it shows a picture of like Spock, and it says Gandalf from Battlestar Galactica.
I watched the show Hijack. That's Idris Elba, Apple TV show that's going on.
You and your really Apple TV shows, you're digging them, huh?
Yeah, they're well written and they're shot really, really well.
Apple TV's getting another exclusive movie I'm interested in coming up. They're making an F1 movie.
They're also making a Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, but it's on Apple TV. That's just...
Yeah.
That's just cool.
This is Ridley Scott doing awesome shit again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that movie.
Movie trailer looked badass.
And then I went on like a Kubrick kick. where I was just watching like
A kick brick.
Kick Brick, like movie analysis and stuff, and the director for Toy Story 3 like made a book about like The Shining and stuff. Like he made a $1,500 fucking book about The Shining.
What?
He got interviews with Shelley Duvall. He got interviews with the actor who played Danny. He didn't get Jack Nicholson, but he took like archive of an interview that he did that he did a favor for Steven Spielberg, and it was like an hour and a half interview that he took. There was
So wait, you said you got on a Kubrick kick, but you didn't actually watch any Stanley Kubrick films?
I watched the fucking Tom Cruise one, Eyes Wide Open.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes wide open.
Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes wide open. You've never seen people more clothed than in that movie. I'll tell you what.
Yeah. That movie.
Takes place at Halloween.
That movie is fucking crazy. Like
It is. I love that movie to death.
yeah.
That whole movie, you're like, I don't know what's going on, but Tom Cruise is definitely in danger.
Yeah.
That's him in every movie he's in.
Pretty much, but this one, it's like, have you guys seen Eyes Wide Shut?
No.
Okay, so Chaz, you have though.
Mhm.
Okay, well, I mean, I won't ruin it or anything, but it's just the whole movie, you don't know what's going on, and neither does Tom Cruise, and that's what elevates the sense of like, oh, he's gonna get murdered or something.
That sounds awesome. I like when movies do that kind of thing, where it's like you don't know what's going on. The fucking guy doesn't know what's going on either.
Nicole
a really great movie.
Kidman's
You should see
character
it.
pissed me off, like in this fucking movie, like terribly. Like I had PTSD in like some of the relationships I've been in, and I was like, Tom Cruise, fucking eject. But you need to watch the movie in order to. So Zach, put that on your list. Watch Eyes Wide Shut. It's really, really good. Obviously, it's his Kubrick's last movie. He died in post production, so part of it is studio edited. But I'm pretty sure, like, probably one of closest Kubrick's friends probably edited to what he think it was, what he wanted and stuff. But yeah, I went on this like Kubrick kick, and I found out that he wanted to do a Napoleon movie, and then that got shit canned. And then he wanted to do a Holocaust film, but then fucking Steven Spielberg did the Schindler's List, and he got fucked around with that one too. I kind of want to see all these movies that he wanted to do, but we'll never get to see it. Obviously,
Did the thing you watched about his Napoleon movie, did it talk about how he like hired a guy to just go to Europe and walk around Europe in Napoleon's footsteps?
I believe they like mentioned it, but
I've always been fascinated by that. He said, look, just go to Europe and just go to all the places Napoleon went in order and just write down about it. And I was like, man, I want that job.
well,
Pretty
the
cool.
Holocaust film, I forgot what kid it was. It was like a known kid actor, but he like brought the kid in with the mother, and he's staring at the kid because he's like trying to picture him in the movie. He's like, "Don't worry, I'm not staring you like a creep. I just want to picture you as a like Jewish kid during this time." And he's like, the kid was like, he was just staring at me like for a good 20 minutes, not talking to me. And I was,
He went to sleep with his eyes open.
oh, and the Toy Story director guy, he ended the Shelley, because like there's rumors that he was bullying Shelley Duvall to the point of like going to a mental hospital because of Kubrick.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
He interviewed Shelley Duvall, and it wasn't true. She loved Stanley.
Oh. I thought it
but-
was more fun to believe that he had in fact been mean.
I mean, it would make, he probably was a dick, because she did mention he is a dick because he has to be perfect. His stick about him doing 100 shots to make sure it's perfect.
Oh yeah, he's a huge ass. Like, I did any of the stuff you watched talk about how he insisted the studio spend millions and millions of dollars building a jungle set for Full Metal Jacket, and then when he saw it, he said, "I don't like this," and he moved the scene to that. It's the sniper scene. He just moved it to some bombed out buildings after they built a fucking jungle in Britain for him to film it.
Yeah,
It's fucking great.
I
This
also
sucks, and he's go somewhere else.
I also learned that the Overlook Hotel, the little facade thing that they built for that set, like burned down and shit, like near the end of The Shining. And there's a picture of Stanley Kubrick standing in front of the wreckage, laughing as
That's great.
wreckage behind him.
Well, the exterior shots of it is a real hotel, though. Also,
well, they showed in this. I'll get the video for you, Andy, because he took Danny's dad was a photographer and was taking pictures. He got permission from Stanley Kubrick to take pictures, but don't sell it to like newspapers or magazines and stuff. And you could see the Overlook Facade Hotel. Like they did it on set in Utah. Was it Utah? I think it was it was California because they did it in Cali or something like that. But on the set, there's a facade where it's like just the front is fake, and then the maze is also fake too.
Yeah, I mean it's an actual building in Estes, Colorado. I've been to it. I've drank at its bar.
Yeah, they built it to be in Cali because I remember Danny went across the street to like fucking Sesame Street or the Muppets or whatever, and he took like pictures with like Kermit the Frog because it was like across the street and he didn't have to film. But yeah, that's all I've done as far as like my vacation. I worked during my vacation. I just wanted to take a little break as far as podcasting. But Andy, what the hell you been watching or playing or doing?
I played a bunch more Tears of the Kingdom. I wanted to walk back some of my comments about that game. I was saying it's a super fun adventure and I'm having a ton of fun playing it. And that's all still true. But I said the story was like, who cares? I was wrong. Like I got kind of more into the story and like kind of understand what's going on now. The story's really cool. Like now I'm kind of into it. So far that game has had 2 of my favorite boss fights from the entire franchise. And one of them is like a major story moment and I got real into it and it's really fun and impressive. I went to the Pokemon North American Championship or whatever. I'll let Chaz talk about that though. Who the fuck cares? I watched a whole bunch of the show. What?
Shit on all my what am I doing?
God, that's some bullshit Chaz will talk
that's
about.
all you're gonna talk about.
Yeah, that's all you do.
You do the Pokemons.
I catch them all, yeah. It was funny.
I watched both the Austrian Grand Prix and the British Grand Prix, of course.
Who won?
Who do you think won? It was old Max. Maxie boy.
Maxie.
Has he lost a race yet?
Once.
No. What?
He did lose once. Perez won. He
What?
got second.
Oh yeah, no, that's right. I remember that now.
It was like Saudi Arabia, maybe, or
So-
maybe it was Azerbaijan. I
So
can't
literally
remember.
the whole season so far has just been him in first place every time, but then he got second one time. This motherfucker's going for what 3 stars on the fucking Mario Kart circuit, where he's got to get first place to get his cup so he can get the reverse tracks.
He's always getting the fastest laps too, and it's just like no one can fucking stop.
Oh damn!
Now, that being said, he was winning each race by like 23 fucking seconds. Now he's winning them by like 3 and 6. He had led like every lap since Miami at some point, and recently some laps were led by some other people, including Lando Norris, by the way. Lando got second in Britain.
Right. Awesome.
So McLaren did something, and their cars are good now. Lando got second. Piastri finished 6th or 7th, something like that.
All right.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. On Independence Day, I watched The Patriot. I'd never seen The Patriot before. Pretty good movie. I liked it.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, and then after that, I watched The Great Escape, which is better, but you know,
It's a different movie.
Have you guys ever seen The Great Escape?
No.
Yeah, it's the World War II movie, right?
Yeah, it also has Richard Attenborough in it. I forgot about that until I watched it. It's like, what the fuck? There he is. I think it's got everyone in it. It's got Steve McQueen famously and James Garner. Charles Bronson's in it. Donald Pleasance is in it.
Oh my god.
James Coburn's in it a little bit, not enough. I don't know, a bunch of other people. It's got a ton of great actors in it. The movie's fantastic. If you've never seen The Great Escape, it's like, you know, one of the great movies. But I watched it because it has that July 4th scene in it, and that's what made me think about it because it was Independence Day.
Why didn't you watch Independence Day?
No.
What?
But aliens.
I always watch like war movies and stuff on Independence Day.
I was
If you really
working.
want to ruin your Independence Day, you should watch Born on the 4th of July.
Damn.
Maybe I'll watch it one day. I've
Yes.
genuinely never seen that movie. So
Oh yeah, it also has our hero Tom Cruise we talked about earlier. Man, what a depressing ass movie! It's a good movie.
Thomas Cruise worth in it?
Yeah,
Thomas
he's
Cruise
back in it.
is in danger in that movie too, and the danger gets him.
He is in danger, both physically and mentally. Yeah, poor guy. It's a rough movie. It's a good movie. It's just it's daunting.
Yeah, I'll watch it one day. I listened to a whole bunch of episodes of Hardcore History, the podcast I talked about on a previous episode. I'm listening to Ghosts of the Ostfront, which is about the Eastern Front in World War II. I like bringing up that podcast because it's extremely good, like outrageously good. Anyone who likes history would really like that show. Also, kind of think, speaking of history, I discovered a YouTube show I've been watching. Why Are You Laughing? It's about stand-up comedy and comedy writers and stuff like that. It's pretty good, and it's for some reason kind of obscure. Like some of the videos have less than 1,000 views on them, but it's really funny. I think that's it. Oh, and I watched like 2.5 seasons of Atlanta. That show's hilarious. I love it to death.
Nice.
I think that's it.
All right, Jurassic Chaz. What about you?
Yeah, so I'll save Pokemon for last. Go in reverse order. What all the stuff I've done. Still playing Street Fighter. Actually had a good run playing Street Fighter the other night. I managed to go like a 12 match winning streak, and I nearly got to gold and ranked. Most of my matches that I've been playing, I was doing like casual and like battle hub while I was still learning, and then I got into ranked. And ranked is just a weird cesspool in some ways, but that's how it is, right? It's how it is in any game with ranked.
It's a fighting game online. What did you expect?
Yeah, I don't know what I expected. I knew it was going to happen, but yeah, I nearly broke into gold, which like as I've gotten higher and higher in ranks, it's gotten a little better, but I hit a wall there, and like today, for instance, I played and I did the thing you're not supposed to do. I just jumped right into ranked. I hadn't played in a couple of days, and you should really warm up. You just go to the training or go play a casual match or two. No, I went in and I went like on a 6-match losing streak, got my ass kicked a few times, and then I basically like swept all that under the rug, and after a few hours like got back to where I was in ranked and just like a little further ahead, but I'm still in high silver, but I still need to get a little win streak to get to gold, but it's been fun. I don't know. I'm really tired of playing against Ken. That's just because like
Is
Almost
Ken like
Ken.
high tier or something?
yeah,
He's
Ken is the like as far as like how he is ranked by all the pros in his tiers, he is the best character in the game.
That's every Street Fighter game.
Yeah, but also he's just the most popular. So
That's
just you regardless if he's good or bad, you're just gonna fight him like every other ranked matches against Ken. It's just
you're gonna
kind
fight
of
a lot of Kens and Ryus.
I
Yeah.
only ever, it's not like I played it online or anything, but my favorite Street Fighter to play is Alpha 2, and Ken is my least favorite character to fight in that.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just every time I fight him, he beats me. I'm like, fuck this rich guy. I hate him.
Well,
Don't
he
worry,
buys
he gets fucked.
yeah, he bought too many NFTs and now he's homeless.
Yeah, the NFT market bottomed out finally.
Well, you guys run into the version of him that has Dante's white hair and red outfit, and he's like, "Oh, look at me! I'm using modern controls," but which I don't really mind that as much. It's not that big a deal. Although modern Zangief's just a weird thing to run into because they just got to press one button and they ult. It's kind of frustrating, but it kind of comes with territory. But anyway, I've been playing Street Fighter. It's been fun. Watched a handful of things. Evie and I watched Pokemon the movie 2000. It's the one about how the birds get captured and they all come together and cause a crazy storm, and Lugia has to come out of the sea and restore. It's pretty cool. Slow King can talk, and he has an English accent. It's random. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I mean, it's not quite as good as the first movie, but
Which one
it's
is
still
where
fun to watch.
Mewtwo almost fucking kills Pikachu?
That's the first one.
Oh, that's the first one. Yeah, that's the first. That's
Okay.
one everyone remembers.
Yeah,
Because
that's the only one
Mew-
I've seen.
Yeah, Mewtwo kills Ash, and then turns him to stone, and then Ash comes back to
Mewtwo was
life.
gangster.
Yeah, Mewtwo was like straight up like, "No, I'm gonna genocide everything," and then he was like, "Oh, I don't have to do this. I can be good." And then he has the whole quote. It's like
The first Thanos.
one's birth doesn't circumstances of their birth doesn't decide who they are. It's their actions or whatever. Yeah, he went from Thanos to Martin Luther King. In like, like legit, like is about to fucking freeze a death ball the earth, and then just goes, you know what? This is all good. I just solved racism. That's seriously what happens.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
It's fucking phenomenal. I love that
That's
movie.
pretty great.
I've been watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This new season is fucking hilarious. I haven't got to watch the new episode. It's about like a Chuck E. Cheese knockoff.
I'm going to start that as soon as I'm done with Atlanta. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh my god, the first episode is just fucking great. It's one of the best episodes I've watched in a while. But it's been good. I caught up on Dark Side of the Ring, which I think before this episode I had already been caught up, but I watched the Junkyard Dog episode, which was really good to watch. It was a wrestler I didn't see as much of. Like I knew who he was, but I didn't know much about his history. It was really cool to watch, but of course, because of what the nature of the show, there's a sad turn to it. But then in doing that, I ended up watching a couple other random ones I hadn't watched. I watched the Montreal Screwjob and Bret Hart one again. I watched the Macho Man one. I hadn't seen it in a while. Evie has been getting into some vintage Disney stuff. I thought it was notable to bring up. We watched some old school Goofy shorts. I don't know if you guys remember those old like 9-minute like short cartoons that have like Goofy explaining how to do things. And as in the process,
unironically, I watch those every few years. They're all funny.
Yeah, so
it doesn't matter if you're a child or an adult. They're really funny.
So they've uploaded them to Disney Plus now, and they even like help with some of the art style and stuff. I mean, they look really good, but I mean, not that they need that. But yeah, we went back and watched them, and the ones I always remember were any of the ones involving sports, water sports.
The football one's really good.
The football one, we watched the baseball. We watched the Olympics. We watched the one where he learns how to ski, which is hilarious. They were phenomenal, and listening to her laugh is always just like the greatest thing. So she genuinely just thinks it's hilarious, because it is. I have watched the bejesus out of Dragon Ball. So before, when we got off, I hadn't finished Dragon Ball Z yet, but I was very close. I was like at the tail end of the Buu saga. So I have since watched it. I have watched all of Dragon Ball GT, and I will not be going back to it again anytime soon. It just does not stand up to the others. And then I wanted to erase that to know what the actual canon stuff was, because I'll go back. I will give one credit to Dragon Ball GT. There are some neat little moments where they try to tie in original Dragon Ball. It kind of falls short.
That's the only reason I could ever stand it, because I love original Dragon Ball.
Same, but I actually think Super does better with callbacks than GT even does. So it almost makes it like, okay, it's not good. The one strength that Dragon Ball GT has is that it may have the best music in the entire franchise. The music to that like just like random like background music of just like this funky ass bass music playing is so fucking good. The music is so fucking good to that show. That's the only thing. It's like, wow. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the music to Super as well. Super's soundtrack is awesome, but of things they just play throughout, especially anything related to when they turn God, like they go Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue, like the music they play throughout that is awesome. But GT, man, there's something just really, really good about it. It hits totally different. That said, I'm not going to go back and watch the story. Plot's kind of useless. Super, I decided to watch it to cleanse the palate, and I have already watched the majority of it. I just stopped at, I think, episode 70, I think it was 78. It's they're about to start the Tournament of Power. So I've already watched almost all of it. I mean,
after that, you're going to watch Dragon Ball AF?
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I don't know. It's maybe. I thought about.
Oh wait, there's an actual Dragon Ball AF.
No.
He's joking.
That's a deep internet lore joke.
Yeah, that's an ancient internet lore thing.
He's just being funny. He's being a funny guy. I thought about watching One Piece. but
The fuck?
God.
no, I'm not gonna watch One Piece. I don't have it in me. It's too much. And to be fair, I have tried to give One Piece a chance long ago. I just didn't like it. It's okay. It's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big pirate fan. I know it sounds weird. People like pirates. Pirates are
I like
anime.
pirates. Watch Black Lagoon. That's all about pirates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Anime
It's also
pirates.
20. It's also just 26 episodes.
Yeah,
And,
I like pirates in space. But
these are oh shit, what's the word I'm looking for?
Corsairs.
Modern day pirates.
Modernized pirates.
Modernized pirates. Some
These are
salary
robotic
man
pirates.
gets fucking like kidnapped by pirates near Thailand and
oh,
becomes part of their fucking group basically because they hold him hostage.
oh yeah. I mean, I watched that movie where Tom Hanks got on there, and those guys were like, "I'm the captain now." Yeah.
Oh,
No, this is better than that.
It's just
Captain
it's
Phillips.
different. Yeah, Captain Phillips. So yeah, Dragon Ball Super has been great. I don't know what I like more. No, that's not true. There's still like so many like fun nostalgic moments that hold up for me with Z and even the original Dragon Ball. But Super's
But their
still
hair
really
doesn't
good.
change colors as often in Z.
It-
So
It doesn't, so it's got to be Super. Super is just they got it down. Super's good. I found more things that I appreciate. Actually, watching Z, like watching original Z, like not like cut or abridged or Kai or any of that nonsense. Watching all of it and then watching Super gave me a new appreciation for some of the arcs, like Vegeta's arc of how he grows and like how he responds to certain things, like in the Future Trunks saga. In Super with Goku Black and stuff actually makes a little bit more sense. And I kind of like that. But anyway, that's for another day. We've already gone long enough. I don't need to get any more winded on that. So the last thing is what we're rating on. I attended and competed in the Pokemon National Championship or NAIC, and while I unfortunately did not proceed on to like the next wave of things and like do super well, and like make a bunch of money, I did actually have a solid record. I finished within the top. I think it was like the top 256 or whatever, and yeah, I had a really good time. Met up with Andy the following one of the following days and shopping around and doing different things, and yeah, and managed to find from a mutual friend someone. I guess to kind of lay it out, whenever you place, there's both the video game tournament as well as the card game tournament, but the prizes are relatively the same in terms of like random swag they give you. So even if you play the video game, they still give you a card and a playmat if you top 8. And I managed to buy this bad boy, which is the top 8 playmat for championships. Of course, I got the hat and I got a regular competitor thing, but yeah, that playmat, because there's so many limited numbers of them, they're already going for a couple $100 online. So I was pretty excited to get that. But the other thing I did is I was dared to buy some really old packs, and I bought 4 packs of first edition Neo Genesis, which is the very first set that came out when the second generation came out. So for Alligator, Typhlosion, Lugia, Ho-Ho, the 3 dogs, all that. It's the gold and silver era.
you couldn't remember the green one either.
I intentionally like to avoid saying Meganium. I know Meganium, poor thing, better than damn Venusaur. I'm just kidding. So packs were retail are usually between $600 to $700. I managed to get a deal and I got 4 of them for around a little over $2,000. And then people were like, "Oh, that's really crazy that you did that. We didn't think you'd do that." It's like, "Yeah, well, are you going to open them?" Well, of course I am. So we live streamed the opening, and I managed to pull not 1 but 2 holos. One of them being Typhlosion, which is the 3rd rarest card in the set. I actually got an update today because it got sent off for grading because it was a pack fresh opening. As of right now, there with Beckett grading, there are only 2 other perfect 10 graded cards of that kind and 0 of their like black label perfect 10. So depending on when this card comes back, it could be worth anything near it may be worth just a couple hundreds if they really shaft me and say it's only a 7 or an 8. But given
I
circumstances,
think it's got to be at least a 9, like a 9.0.
That's what I'm hoping. If it's at least a 9, then we're sitting at a $400 or $500. If it's the 9.5, we're getting closer to 1,000. If it hits 10, we're a couple thousand. If it gets the black label because it's one of a kind, I mean, who knows what it could go
Pristine.
for. So we'll
Hollows
see if
back
we get
then
that.
were rare, right?
Huh?
Hollows back then were rare. Like I
yeah.
forgot I mentioned it on my birthday. I bought Pokemon cards, and like every pack has like a
He's
hollow
infected.
or a reverse hollow.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, like fucking weighing the packs to make sure there's a hollow in there.
So that was what was neat about this. So the guy that I bought these from, I'll give him a shout out. It's Yeti Gaming in St. Louis. Really nice group of people. So they actually brought a fresh sealed box of this set. It hadn't been opened. So there's nothing that's weighed, nothing. And to commemorate it, like had it locked and sealed and open it the very first day when someone officially bought a pack from it. He was going to sell the box if someone would buy the whole box, but open it, sell the packs the day of. I bought my packs the second day. So I mean, yeah, is it possible the guy got in there and started weighing them? Whatever. But I mean, if he did,
He did a bad job.
He let me choose what packs I wanted. I bought one of each of the art sets of the blisters, which, by the way, the blisters as a set sell for like $100 on eBay, which is absurd. So that tells you how like valuable and old these things are. People buy crazy shit. But that being said, he let me pick out the packs I wanted. He could have easily had tried to say, "Oh, take this one" or "Hand me this one." But no, he let me pick them out. And actually, I went back to him and just to be nice and say, "Hey, look what I pulled out of your packs." And the guy nearly flipped out on me, like was so like just amazingly overjoyed and like wanted to take pictures and gave me some merchandise and was like, "Yeah, let me know about how it gets graded, and I'll be happy to vouch if you need anything for authenticity. We can prove a timestamp of when the box was open because And I didn't realize that was a thing." But and some people even said that it's BS, but I mean, this is a guy that works in this industry, but he seems to really feel like if you have validation that a card was actively open, that it could help at least with how it's graded. I guess like
Couldn't hurt. I'd never heard of that until you said it, but I guess it
Me
makes
neither.
sense.
It kind of makes sense. Like at the same time, though, I've also been told like the graders that do this also are like people that are just paid minimum wage that just work at the industry. But then again, I don't know. I have no idea what like depending on where they're at. Like I could see that with some companies, but Beckett, like you can pay certain amounts. Like you can pay to go there, and they will grade it in front of you, and like they will do it all in front of you, and it's expensive. And I did pay for one of the higher packages. I paid for like the higher one that's express. Like if you want, they can like send you a video to show you how it was graded and processed. Like it's really cool. That being said, it makes sense to me in that it's not that it changes what the card would actually grade. If the card's truly defected in some way, it wouldn't grade high or any higher, but it's leniency basically. If they see that, okay, this card was freshly opened from a pack that's been sealed for so long, they're less likely to look for really minute defects because someone who's had it just in their binder for 10 years, well, it may have little bits of wear and tear that actually affect where it would be. Like you're not looking for that because this card is packed fresh. So I guess that makes sense. I have no idea if it's going to affect what this card gets graded. For all I know, the next time we talk, I have the card and it's like, look, I got a 7. It's worth the same as it was before I sent it off.
Yeah,
And
but
that was
now
the
you
price
got a
of
cool
grading it.
video and story, and it's a cool looking card.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did get Reddit famous there for a bit too. It was the top post on Pokemon subreddit there or the TCG subreddits, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it was neat. It was a fun little experience. I didn't say this too, but also in like my total amount of points, I haven't been doing a lot of competitive stuff, but I had grinded enough things. I did actually qualify for World Championships in Japan in August, despite not placing super high in the event. That's neat. Unfortunately, I can't go, but hoping if I can continue with that and actually go to more events next year, I'll actually be able to compete at World Championships. Pretty cool. So we'll see. But that is all I've done. Not much else.
While you were talking about Pokemon cards, I opened a pack I bought today, and I got a card.
Oh, Wu-Chin! Yeah, neat. Nice.
All right. Zach, what the hell you been watching, playing, or doing?
I didn't do a damn thing.
You've had so much time.
I'm just kidding.
Mm.
Well, I watched. I'll start with this at least. I watched Money in the Bank 2023 while I was on vacation because
Dude, that tag match.
It was on Saturday. The show itself was okay for the most part, but yeah, the main event, the Bloodline Civil War, was like fucking good. In retrospect, I think the match was a touch too long. They probably could have dropped 5 or 10 minutes even, but it was still a really good tag match with a lot of good in-ring storytelling shit going on and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. Not much else to say about that. I don't think there's a pay-per-view in July at all. Like, I tried to check the schedules.
No,
and
I
SummerSlam
thought they
for
do
August.
at least one every year. Or
They
every
used to
month.
do one every month, yeah, but WWE, I guess they're starting to pull back a little bit on that.
Is that good? Do you consider that good?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and like I was gonna say, I've liked their pay-per-view shows better lately because they're if it's not a big show, it's 3 hours long, which is what they used to be. They used to be like almost 3 hours or just a touch over. And I'm fine if they skip a month or two. They don't need goddamn pay-per-view every month. The Monday Night Wars is over. It's been over.
To give you guys to look into something, because it's just a rare occurrence that NXT would make any headlines anyway. But I don't know. Twitter and other socials have been blowing up. Apparently, the match that happened tonight on tonight's episode was a bit of a banger.
I've been hearing more and more about NXT matches lately, so I guess NXT is recovering finally.
Yeah, Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker face each other for the number one contendership. Apparently, it was very good. Like one of the best matches of the year, period. Not just on TV.
Makes total sense. Ilya Dragunov is like one of my favorite wrestlers, modern day wrestlers right now.
He doesn't have a bad match, right?
No. God damn it, that guy's incredible. Mm-hmm. Watch Ilya Dragunov and Walter, formerly Gunther now. Gunther, excuse me. Walter, he was known as before. Jesus Christ. Like, every time I watch those matches, I'm like, this is what wrestling could have been, could have evolved into, but it didn't. So, for the most part. But every time those two guys mix it up, it's like, God damn, I wish all wrestling was like this. I watched a bunch of horror movies of varying quality. I watched Pumpkinhead.
Ooh, the OG?
Yeah, the OG. I don't know if they remade it or not, but
they did.
Oh, it's probably worse.
I feel like they've remade every fucking horror movie now.
Yeah, that's why I questioned it, because Pumpkinhead, I think, is kind of a little bit of a cult movie. But I don't ever call it being like super popular or anything.
They even remade Stepfather.
Fuck. But it was okay. There were some funny moments in it. What were you gonna say, Chaz?
I apologize. It's not that they remade it. It is currently underway, or it was being remade. But this was from 2021, so I don't know if it's still like frozen in production.
COVID
I just remember something
stopped it. Yes.
Yeah, so we might be okay. It may not be a thing that happens, but yeah, I could have sworn they did already have a remake. But there are a bunch of, like, I guess sequels then, or spiritual sequels of it that are like not even B movies. They're like
Zucchini Head.
Oh my god! And then there's like a really shitty PC game, but
oh my goodness!
No, it's terrible. My favorite part of it was Lance Hendrickson and the old hag lady. She's like one of my favorite horror movie characters now. I wish like their other movies didn't suck because she's awesome. The old lady, the old country hag knows how to summon Pumpkinhead, and she's the one that does it. But it's like the whole thing is like his son accidentally gets killed by like city folk, they term it, and he gets mad and he wants to summon Pumpkinhead because he saw what Pumpkinhead did as a child. It was crazy, and it happens, and it wasn't what he thought it was going to be. And it goes back to the old hag lady. He's like, it can't be like this. It's like, what did you think it was going to be like? Like, she's so awesome. She's all gnarled up and shit. Like, it's literally a hag. And there's like a creepy owl in the back looking around. There's all, like, I love it. But he's like, God damn it, make it stop. I don't want it to be this way. I'll do it myself. I'll do it. I'll do it myself. Like, and then she's like, you can't do it and you won't. Just like, God damn it. God damn you. And she's like, he already has, son.
Sounds like an Ernest movie.
He already has. Yeah, he kind of like freaks out and turns into Ernest for like a minute. But it's just fun. It was one of my favorite freakouts. But, it was okay though. I watched Macabre. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. 1980, Macabre. It's about a woman. Like the first 5 minutes of the movie is like fucking amazing, just because of the series of events that happens. It's like, I don't know. She's married. She's one of those unsatisfied fucking housewives or some shit. So she cheats on her husband and ignores her family. And as she's doing this, she's leaving the house to go to a meeting. But her daughter is wise to what her meetings are. And she uses this opportunity to, like, smoke her mom's cigarettes and do stupid shit, like drown her little brother in the bathtub because she thought it would be entertaining to do and get away with it. And she finds out that she drowned her because she calls her mom and tells her that, Toby drowned in the bathtub. She tells on herself. So she's like a little sociopath, basically. But what happens is on the way there, like, she gets her fucking boyfriend to take her, and she's rushing him, and he's like, oh, calm down. Like, Jesus Christ. He gets in a car accident and dies right in front of her. Like, he hits like a steel beam and it decapitates him or some shit. And she's like, she's like freaking out. And then she goes to a mental hospital for a year. And yeah, she gets out. But the whole twist of the movie is like, she's interacting with somebody in this boarding house, and you never see who it is. You just hear sounds and you see like scenes, but you don't see who else is in that room. It turns out somehow she got the guy's decapitated head and was able to store it in the freezer in that fucking room. And she's been making out with it and shit and making noises, carrying on with herself with it. It was fucking bad though. It was terrible. Don't ever watch that movie.
Noted.
I mean, I don't really need to. You described it for me. I think.
Yeah, it's what I tried to compact it into like a minute and a half. Mirror Mirror is another one. It was okay. It was like 1990. As some girl has a creepy mirror in her room, and it made her. It's weird because this is after Beetlejuice, and the main girl in the movie is like moving into this new house with her mom and everything, and she looks like Lydia Dietz from Beetlejuice. Just like dead ringer. And I'm like, this is after Beetlejuice. She's moving in with her mom is like weird, and they move into this really bright home, and she hates it, and she's dressed exactly like her. Whatever. It was just okay. It wasn't really good or bad necessarily. Watched Lights Out. Do you remember that YouTube short that came out like a few years back where it was like somebody saw something in their house when they turned the light switch off?
And like that creepy thing that's by the light switch?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That spun off into a full-length feature film. And it was all right up to a point. And the problem is they got too into explaining what the thing is, what the entity is.
I fucking hate that shit.
They got way.
Let stuff be mysterious and scary.
Yeah.
I like ambiguity. Like they should just...
Exactly. Yeah. It kind of dragged it down, and it takes you out of like the tension that it builds, because it works. That gag still kind of works when you see it happen. It's like, well, that's what the fuck. And it's like moving as you turn the lights off and turn it back on. It gets closer to you. It's like, oh shit. But yeah, they got way too into explaining it, almost like how actually some 80s horror movies would get into explaining the slasher villain or something. Yeah, it just ended up being okay because of that.
Yeah, they come with some dumb explanations sometimes too.
It was not. It was like she was she befriended the main character's mother when they were children, and she had like a fucked up skin condition, and they tortured her in an insane asylum, and somehow it killed her, and it made her a lights on, lights off ghost. See, that's fucking stupid. It should have just been like a weird demon or some shit.
She wasn't hugged enough, and then she became the wrath embodiment of police brutality.
She was killed by a light bright.
That's the Candyman remake, damn it.
I mean, it belittles some of the other bigger problems that are happening, which kind of sucks. So it's like, just keep it a mystery. Like, fucking let it be creepy, and it kills people, and it's scary. Like, whatever.
Yeah, please, for the love of God. And finish it off with the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Yeah.
Me and Andy reviewed that movie.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was neat to see where a lot of inspiration came from. Arguably, this is the first horror movie.
That's what they say.
Like, there's been little short films before it, like really short, like a few minutes or some shit. And I think like Haxan comes out close to around the same time, but I don't know necessarily that Haxan counts.
Haxan kind of lacks.
It's weird.
An overall narrative. Like,
yeah, it's
Haxan is like, this is some spooky shit that might be in a witch book. Whoa! And it's like a bunch of vignettes.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, I was really interested in watching that movie, and then I read about it, and it was like kind of like almost a documentary. And I was like, I don't know if I want to watch that now.
It's interesting. It's worth watching once. I wouldn't like blind buy it or anything though. Like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari is great. Also, you would really like Vampire. You should watch that. It's in the
I've got it on my HBO or
Good.
Max.
Yeah,
it's on there. Whoa. But
you'll like, if you liked Caligari.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out for sure. Like I said, it's on my list on there. But yeah, Caligari was really cool. It's like the first slasher movie kind of, because the guy, you guys have seen it. Chaz, have you seen it?
Mm-mm.
Go watch it. It's like a little bit over an hour. You watch it on Tubi. It's not a not very good quality version of it, but it made me want to buy it on home release, because I did see it's got like a better version out now, kind of like how Nosferatu is.
I think it's like public domain, so there's a bunch of different releases, I think.
Yeah, like it seems like they do the thing where they color shade different parts of the movie, like that one version of Nosferatu is now.
Oh, the version I watched didn't, or did it? No, it did do that. Never mind. I'm crazy.
Yeah, the version I watched didn't. It was monochrome, and it was like pretty low quality. But good movie though. I enjoyed it. I played a bunch of games. I played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater on PlayStation.
The first one?
Oh yeah, the first one. Fuck that remake bullshit where they fuck it up.
Well, I mean, 2 is also good. I like 1, 2, and 3. I'll play any of them.
Oh yeah, sure. I only played 1 and 2 actually, so I'm gonna like over time get the other ones I didn't get.
3 was the beginning of them kind of getting too many cooks in the kitchen, and it loses some of its charm. But I still really like 3.
Yeah,
is that the one where you can play as Darth Maul?
Yes. Yes.
It was 3 or 4,
you can be Spider-Man in one and Darth Maul in the other. One's
I know,
2,
yeah.
one's 3. I can't remember which is which.
Remember the Wii version with the skateboard?
No, let's forget that.
Downhill jam.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I would defend it a little bit. So 4 is actually one of the ones that's like highest rated. 3 and 4 were like 4 after 4 is like when they made, I think, Underground, where they had that weird story where you punch.
Some people like Thug.
Yeah,
it
people
wasn't
really
bad,
like
but like from there, like the whole genre just started to steadily take.
Yeah, then it was
down.
like Proving Ground, and I mean there was a Thug 2, and like Project 8 or something like that.
Yeah,
like they got way off the rails.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's the thing
no
about
pun intended.
the thing about Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is you could say that name, and I immediately hear the song Superman by Goldfinger.
Yes. Yes.
Never ever won't hear that immediately. It's playing in my head now. I'm gonna listen to it after the podcast.
The soundtrack still fucking rips. It's awesome.
Love it.
But yeah, great game to this day to play. Very pick up play. It's like a round is 2 minutes. Fucking go tear it up for 2 minutes and you're done. Like,
Yep. Right down circle.
That's
Tony
actually
Hawk,
now that I got my Polymega, that's one of my, like, every time I play the Polymega, there's certain games that I just boot up for 15 minutes. It's almost always one of them.
hell yeah. I also played Driver.
Oh God, that's another good game.
See, I used to think that game was all right, and I traded in back in the day when I was younger and had no money. And I got back and I was like, I'm gonna play Driver again. And I was like, I don't like it, man.
Oh,
I agree with you. I think I
that
played
breaks my
Driver
heart.
2 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, this is not what I remember.
The car physics are just so whack in it now. It kind of suffers, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah, I
that's the
think
point.
the time like it
At the time when
aged-
it came out,
yeah,
it was probably
awesome.
fine. Yeah, but see, and you kind of can't do that, unfortunately, for games like as much as you could movies, because there's only so much you can do about how something plays, how it controls. It's like
Okay.
you can adapt, but goddamn.
Hear me out, because you have it. Just try this. If you do this once and you still don't like it, okay, it's fine. Boot up Driver. Go to the section where you can pick like your mini games, where you can just like do whatever instead of actually playing like the single player story. And I think it's under that scenario, and it's like Cops and Robbers. I think it's what it's called. Basically, it's the one where you're getting chased immediately by cops. Like they are daggering in immediately. Choose San Francisco. Have fun. Because you start at the top of where the classic like San Francisco hills are, where you can just go down like the hills. They chase you down, and the physics are so bad, it makes it hilarious because cops are flying everywhere. They're flying and crashing into buildings, and they're going over stuff. Total chaos happens, and the game like glitches the fuck out, but it's so fun.
That's so weird. You just described you're going downhill in San Francisco and cars are flying everywhere, and all I can hear is rolling around at the speed of sound. Got one place to go, gotta follow my rainbow.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
just try that. I remember that was a blast when I was a kid. We used to do that all the time. But other than that, I can see how it doesn't hold up otherwise. So
Like I tried to do like they make you do a test before you actually do like the missions and shit.
oh, the test at the beginning is like infamously like it took so long to figure out how to do it.
I couldn't fucking do it, and I tried it like 10 times. Like, God damn it, what am I doing wrong? Like I know how to do all this shit, but it's like sometimes it just doesn't register.
Just Google it. You're an adult now. You don't have time for this shit. Just look it up.
I did. There's nothing you can do.
Oh, really?
No, it's a time limit and like how to like do all the things, like to slow them perfectly, and then do like the reverse. You have to do like a J turn, like the 180. Like
It's so hard to do. Like I can do a J turn in like every goddamn racing game. I can't do it in this fucking game at all. It goes into the control issue. But I'll try to do the San Francisco thing. I did play that Cops and Robbers mode, but like it was hilarious. I just did Miami, and it sucks in Miami because it's flat, and they ram you immediately, and you can't get away. It's just like fuck.
Oh, nope, you gotta do the other one. Like they start hitting each other. It is nuts. It's fun. It was a thing we used to do when we were younger. We'd like sneak into the liquor cabinet. And we're like sipping on like just like knock off whiskey and playing Driver and being nonsensical. It's just a very funny thing to do. Telling on my 12-year-old self.
I played a bit of Metal Gear Solid. I think we're supposed to do another recording of it sometime soon.
Yeah, it's been back on my mind again. Like I said, I got up to Revolver Ocelot. I might pick it back up.
Yeah, I'm ready when you guys are. So,
I wish I wasn't like waist deep in Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't know how much that got left. I can do both, honestly.
I brought a bunch of Switch games with me because I have like a dock I keep at the other house there just for that. That way I don't have to fucking unplug all my shit and bring it with me.
That's smart.
Yeah, very smart. I got it for free during 2, but I had like I don't remember. I think it was like Battle Axe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Astral Chain, which I did start a game for and thought it was pretty cool.
Good.
I had Tactus Ogre in there too. I'm like, I'm gonna throw Tactus Ogre in and finally fucking play this game. And now I'm sucked into it because it's just like Final Fantasy Tactics. I'm just like, fuck, I'm sucked into this loop now, and I can't get out of it. So I'm just gonna like play this game, I guess, till I beat it.
Good.
It's great though. Like if you like FFT, go play the Tactics Ogre games or the Ogre Battle games. It's the same shit. And to top the playing off, I played the Final Fantasy 16 demo. It's pretty cool. It seems to have a really good story to it, like with characters and everything. There's divisiveness online about it, about its merits of being a Final Fantasy game or not, because of like the gameplay and stuff.
Whatever.
They do that. I read a whole argument about it after I got home from work, actually. Not an entire argument, because it didn't last forever for like pages or some shit. But one guy had it right, though. It seems like with every Final Fantasy game, this fucking discussion happens.
Yes, that's what I was going to say, yeah.
It happened when Final Fantasy VII came out. It happened when 8, 9, 10, so on. So
especially like 11, 13, and 15, I feel like all had that argument.
Yeah, when it became an MMO, people were like, "This is bullshit." Now
this isn't right. This isn't supposed to be Final Fantasy. It's like, well, Square Enix says it is, and they like invented it.
Yeah,
my favorite post so far on Reddit was someone that was like making the joke about it being different or the debate, and someone's comment immediately was reposting the threads of every Final Fantasy game that had come out up to Reddit's creation. It's showing the argument how everyone has said this about every game that's been out. And it's like, sense. See, there it is. There's your archive. Guess what? That's what this series does.
I mean, as far as I can tell, Final Fantasy is just, it's Square Enix saying, this is prime. This is primo A+ grade RPG bullshit. We spent a lot of money and time on this one. And I think that's pretty much it. It's got like chocobos. There's someone named Sid in it, and there might be some Moogles and some summons. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, all they're doing is saying this is a good one. We let this one cook.
I'm gonna wait for a sale on that game.
I really wanted. If I had a PS5, I would have picked it up. But
I'm probably gonna get it. It's just I gotta plot it out down the road a little further because of other purchases I gotta make.
I've been resisting very heavily, but because of things with job and study, I need to stay
in a
away.
Weekend. Might as well pick it up.
Nope, I need to stay away, and then I will binge it in October. Don't worry, I will be balls deep in this. You'll hear all about it in about 3 months. Don't worry.
I liked what I played of it, though. The only thing I thought wasn't that good was the icon battles, which is like something happens in the story where you basically play battles where you fight as the summons. And
weird.
They kind of play out like a Star Fox or a Panzer Dragoon fight a little bit. It's strange. But it's not nearly as dynamic as that, and it causes you to kind of zone out. And
like the fucking summon fights in 15.
I zoned out to the point where like I actually failed like an event that I was supposed to do. Because I figured out I didn't have to keep hitting square over and over to shoot. I could just hold it. And it turned out I wasn't shooting the guy fast enough to damage him. Because to me, it was like, well, I don't need to just keep shooting. I'm dropping his life bar. I guess I just keep doing this till I win. And I lost. So I was like, well, that was kind of counterintuitive game. Okay. So I don't know. And then I have a buddy of mine that played through the whole game and beat it already. And he told me like, yeah, that part of the game is like kind of half baked. It's not really that well thought out, but everything else in it is cool. So yeah, I think I'll give it a try. I'm going to give it a shot. And then I read some shit. I finished reading the Dark Phoenix saga from X-Men. Really good story. Actually, it was cool to actually see how it all really did play out. Cause I've seen so many adaptations of it and shit. Like the animated series did a good version of it. I've seen it like, God damn it, they fucked it up in the movies twice. It did it no justice at all. But it was really cool. It was cool to see Phoenix eat a star and kill an entire solar system of people.
Rude.
Yeah.
And then like right after that, I was like jonesing for more X-Men, and I brought Days of Future Past with me. I started reading it too, and it's funny because it just starts right after that story takes place.
Oh, it's perfect then.
And Cyclops is like depressed and shit, and he's like, "Hey, I quit. I'm leaving." So he's not the team leader anymore, and Storm is now. So, and he was
a sad boy.
Yeah, he was a sad boy. He left. It's pretty cool. My favorite thing that happened in it was like when Wolverine changed his costume, when he changes it to the, in my opinion, better orange and brown. And then Nightcrawler's like, "Hey Wolverine, what's up with the new costume?" And he's like, "Why not, Bob?" He didn't even fucking explain it. He just like, "I like this better. Fuck off."
That is so on tone for character, right?
Yeah. Best explanation for a new costume.
Why not?
It's really cool though. My favorite story in it so far though was like the X-Men annual, where like Nightcrawler it's his birthday. They're celebrating his birthday, and he gets like a present, and he opens it, and it looks like he just dies right in front of them. Like something kills him magically in front of everybody in the room, and they're like, "What the fuck happened?" And it turns out he got sent to hell. So the X-Men have to go to hell to get Nightcrawler back.
That rules.
And it's epic as shit. And like I've really come to like actually really like Colossus as a character in like these earlier X-Men books. Like he's fucking cool. He's just like this really nice down to earth farmer guy. And like Colossus is so badass, he went to hell and basically told like a giant demon, I'm not gonna give up, I'm gonna save my friend, fuck you, and he suplexed him. Like that's the shit. Like how do you beat that?
Suplexing demons.
But yeah, good stuff. You can't beat Chris Claremont writing X-Men, I think. Just can't be done. And that's all I did.
Okay. Well, before we get into news, I forgot something. It's just a quick thing. I watched Wes Craven New Nightmare, and
I like that movie.
Yeah, and I went down a Wes Craven rabbit hole where I watched The Hills Have Eyes. And then I never saw The Last House on the Left, and I watched that and I was disturbed. And
That movie's fucked up.
And then I watched the behind the scenes, and fucking like Wes Craven doesn't like talking about it. He fucking despises it.
What? Really?
Yeah, he doesn't like he respects that he did the film, but he hates it because the guy who is one of the killers, who also I think is Freddy Krueger. He plays him.
Robert Englund.
Yeah, he got so method acting to the part where he's about to rape the one of the main characters, and he's like, he went to Wes Craven. He said, "Can I do it?" Because he was so into the acting. Like if Wes Craven's like, "Yeah, go for it," I don't know if he would have done it or not.
He like calls his bluff.
Yeah, but yeah, that's all I've done too. Wes Craven is fucking awesome. I need to watch more of his movies.
Go watch The People Under the Stairs from him. That movie is fucking awesome.
I'll write that down.
It's a ride, man.
All right, news. Andy, I mean, I didn't really read into it. I just know that they had a court a thing with Microsoft versus the FTC. And
yeah, I was out all day today, but I got a notification on my phone that they won their stuff. And I don't know what else there is to say about it than that. Honestly, I thought it would take way longer for there to be a decision in this.
Yeah, I think the Europe one, by the way, is still up in the air.
That's my understanding as well.
Yeah. So it's going to be funny that if, the deal fully goes through, that it's going to be fine in America, but in fucking Europe, they have to do like third party shit in order to, it's just hilarious to me. But hey, maybe 343 can get the fuck off of Halo and give that shit to the Activision team, the people that do Call of Duty and do a Halo fucking game.
Wait, I can't remember now if I just saw it online or if you guys sent it in chat. Did you guys send the meme about the Halo killer?
No.
No. It was someone posted Halo killers, or these were supposed to be the Halo killers. It was all the games that came out like Kill Switch and Haze or Killzone. That's what I'm thinking of. Killzone. Kill Switch is a good game. It's the one that like one of the games that like put the cover system on the map. But anyway, then it said the real Halo killer, and it just put the logo for 343 Studios. I meant to send it to you guys. I can't remember if when I'd seen it. I think I was just in the middle of something. But yeah, I wanted to bring it up because it's funny.
They did kill Halo.
Halo killed itself.
Halo killed itself. Tragic.
Yeah. Anyway, they won. So I don't know when this deal is going through, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna start seeing like Diablo be on Game Pass soon. So
I mean, can it go through if other countries, if like EU and other countries internationally don't allow it to go through? It's gonna be a big issue, I think, at least on the Blizzard side of things.
I wondered how that would work, but there was obviously this isn't the same thing. This doesn't set a precedent for that. But Microsoft lost their court battle against the U.S. government about monopolization of OS distribution, and they had to split the company in two, and they made that work. So I feel like if European Activision and North American Activision were two different things, they could make it work somehow. I have no idea.
I don't think they have a big market in Europe anyway, so they're just gonna be like, fuck it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, just sell those studios and say, okay, whatever, who cares? But I don't know for sure. I think that's more of like a Ubisoft's domain.
Mm.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. But hopefully Diablo goes on Game Pass and I don't have to pay money for it. So, well, I'll pay for Game Pass.
I mean, that's right. Diablo could be free to play, and the way the game makes money, not by you buying the game. It's for all the other shit, but that is what it is.
Yeah. So Andy, you said you found a study. I didn't read the article, so explain it to me.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is no one's reading the article. They're just like reading the sensational title, and they're coming away with most of what matters. But the Video Game History Foundation conducted a study about whether or not you could play a retro video game, whether you could play it on modern systems or buy it, or if you want to play a game that came out on Nintendo or any retro system up to, I think they did 2007, whether or not it was available. And 87% of video games are completely unavailable to play legitimately. So you have to either buy retro hardware and games or pirate it, or you don't get to play 87% of games that came out before 2007. Yep. And it talks about how that's a problem for consumers, and it's a problem for people who want to study video games or just conservation in general. But what the interesting part is when they talk about why this is going on. And when you think about it, there's been, books for literal centuries, but we've had movies for a century, lots of music, comic books, stuff like that. And if you want to get that kind of stuff, you can go to a library, but you can't do that with video games. And that's because there's laws that restrict video games being in a library setting, whether online or like in an actual brick and mortar your county library. And it's because the games industry has lobbyists that they went to the government, they went to Congress, and they said, we are going to preserve video game history. You don't need to make laws like you did with film to preserve these, they preserve film in the Library of Congress, or you can just go to your county library and just rent a copy of Rashomon. You can just do that. But you can't do that with video games because the lobbyists had the government block that from coming into practice. They said, we will preserve video game history. And here it is 20 years later, and they aren't preserving 87% of video game history, which means they just lied and they're just getting away with it. And it's even more restrictive in other countries. In Japan, you can't even rent games. They have some weird archaic stupid nonsense, like renting's illegal in Japan and stuff.
It's been like that for a long time.
Yeah, it's been like that since the late 80s. So it's just a major problem. Basically, if you want to play an old game, just pirate it, because fuck these companies. If they won't make it available and they're gonna lie to the government, they're gonna pay. That would get off way in the weeds, but this lobbyist system where big corporations get to use lobbyists to pay Congress people to make the laws they want. That's a fundamentally flawed part of our government right now. But this is the microset of a microset about video game conservation, which, I'm subsequently passionate about. And it was just interesting that they actually collected, they figured out every game that had come out since the Fairchild. They started at the Fairchild and they went all the way up to the Xbox 360. So
damn,
it just seems outrageous to me. I knew it would be a lot. We were kind of talking about it. Zach and I were talking about it. It's if someone had asked me to guess, I would have said, "Oh, it's probably a lot. It's probably blah blah blah." But somehow, when you hear 87%, you're like, "Man, I didn't know it was that much."
Yeah, I would have said like, yeah, maybe 70%. Who?
Yeah, it's funny seeing like, because when you go buy like all the retro games, like it's fucking crazy amount of money now.
Yeah, that's a big part of the problem too, is how expensive the actual hardware is.
Yeah. So you go on Amazon and you look at these like little hard drives and fucking little console things that are made with like thousands of games. Sometimes I go, because I've been watching RGT85 on YouTube and he's like reviewing these machines and stuff, and some of them are fucking cool and other of them are just like Chinese garbage stuff.
Yeah, you got to do your research. Like, I mean, if you've got the money, just get a Mister. But if you don't, then emulation.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I got a PC now, so I could probably get my emulators back.
There you go. Pirate everything, buddy. Like, I don't want to be promoting breaking the law on our podcast, but I'm going to promote breaking the law on our podcast.
Why not? Video Game History Foundation podcast does it all the time.
That's true.
That's
true. All of it. Like subsequently, like Kelsey Lewin and Frank both retweeted it. They're like, "Yeah, just pirate everything." Fuck it.
Well, that's what pisses me off about Nintendo sometimes. Like, they closed down the virtual console for the DS and everything in the Wii, and they don't put a virtual console on Switch, and then they're also sending cease and desist to like emulators and ROMs and stuff for getting their games. I'm just like, then put it in on your fucking system so I could fucking buy it and play it.
Nintendo's one of the most egregious about it, and people keep like pussyfooting around it with Nintendo because people like Nintendo, and frankly, I do too. I play my Switch more than anything. I'm playing Zelda now and loving it, but everyone needs to own up to the fact that Nintendo has really shitty business practices when it comes to their backlog of intellectual property.
And they've had really shitty business practices in the past too.
Yeah, like for a while. So I don't know. They need to be brought to task over this, and games just need to be available in libraries. Frankly, like all the stuff needs to be made publicly available if you want it, or they need to make it so you can buy it. Like if you can buy the game, fine, problem solved.
I like to think what they do about that though with the storage situation. That's a lot of shit.
It is a lot of shit, but you can fit every single NES game ever released on a single CDR.
Oh, there you go. See, I'm thinking about it in the literal terms, like how all the stuff I have. So.
Yeah, like I mean, it takes up a lot of space physically, but like a Genesis cartridge is what, 8 megabytes, I think.
Something like that.
Something like that. Like there's not a lot of space, or there's not a lot of stuff on there. My Polymega has I can't remember. I think the 256 gig hard. No, I don't remember what I put in it. But basically, I put something in it that was forward thinking enough that I should be able to store, hypothetically speaking, every single game that ever came out for every console up through the end of Nintendo 64. Like that's all it took is one solid state drive. That's all.
Yeah,
I think it's 2 terabytes, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Well, is there any other news that we should bring up?
I don't think so. Not for me.
I know me and Zach are going to be getting AEW Fight Forever because it looks fun.
I thought it was out.
It is out, but we haven't bought it yet.
Money.
Yeah.
I hear you. I want to buy Sonic Origins Plus, but money, and also I'm just still playing Zelda.
Yeah. All right. Well, remember next week on Chaz's mystery theme list, we have American History X after we just watched Jurassic Park. So I'm still wondering what the theme is, and I'm going to be analyzing that movie. And then we're also going to be talking about it next week. So come by next week and, listen to us talk about that movie. We're also on all podcast services. I'm not going to name them all. We're on all of them. That's all you need to know. We're on YouTube, Couch Entertainments, which we had Snoopy who subscribed.
Thank you.
Was it Snoopy, by the way? Yeah. Snoopy 22560.
560. That must be the zip code he lives in.
Yeah.
Find him and give him a pat on the back.
Yeah. And thank you for the subscription. By the way, just a heads up, I will in about I'll say it about in a month. I'm gonna announce a project that I'm doing. It's a pre-recorded thing that I'm gonna be doing. So keep an eye out for that. Just keep an eye out. I will be announcing on Big Trouble in about a month. And yeah, I think that's where we'll end it. I have a different outro. It's kind of a clip. It's a funny clip. Keep in mind, everybody, when I play this, it's not about politics. I just fucking found it really, really fucking funny, like super funny. So enjoy. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
Included groundbreaking Asian Americans like Vera Wang and Joan Shingang. I'm going to pronounce Shanga